The scorching golden flames have already claimed Kaior, and Zhuo Fan's second soul just turned the abyssal swamp into a devouring domain. The crown prince thinks he holds all the cards, but he's about to learn what happens when a demonic emperor sets his sights on your empire. Hit like and subscribe before the next tribulation strikes. The scorching golden flame singed Kaior's frail body, leaving the impression it snuffed out the final trace of life she had left. Zhuo Fan looked on with worry. Dragon Ancestor consoled him. Fire is a source of life. Be it my fierce flame, decimating golden flame, or Kunpeng's gentle flame, chaos flame. Only gentle flame is good for alchemy and the soul, while the fierce flame is for refining weapons and the body. Letting the golden flame enter her body won't just remake her body, but open her mind further, setting her on the path of a real sacred beast. Further, precisely, Dragon Ancestor said, fire is the source of life and knowledge. Kunpeng's azure flame helped open her first mind, to speak and cultivate, to overcome the shackles of a spiritual beast as it grows stronger and stronger. My golden flames take it a step further, giving her the body of a sacred beast capable of transformation, what a true sacred beast can do. Zhuo Fan shook. Does that mean all spiritual beasts can become sacred beasts? Hardly, or the world would be in chaos. Ha ha ha, you best remember that the number of experts are limited. Dragon Ancestor looked at Kaior. Your daughter is special because she is like us at core, born from the strongest power of this world, with berserk purple lightning taking hold within her. That's why our two flames that resonate with her body will help her develop her mind and spirituality. If it were a common spiritual beast, it could only take one flame. By using both of them, though, it would lead to them clashing inside and exploding. Zhuo Fan nodded, recalling the three-headed crow at Kunpeng's side. His aide had received Kunpeng's azure flame but would never become a sacred beast. Because at core, its body did not have any of the 5 powers. Zhuo Fan could not help but smile at Dragon Ancestor. What about me? Don't I have both of your flames? A freak 9 serenity's sovereign created. Beat it? Dragon Ancestor's face twitched and grumbled. Zhuo Fan's weird constitution made him jealous actually. Who wouldn't want a body that could hold 4 of sacred beast powers and fuse them into an unheard of power? Even he had to admit it. Zhuo Fan smiled, looking smug. Everything was connected. That was the core belief behind demon transformation art. Everything could be transformed for the user's use. It was truly obscene. Sacred beasts can't train in human cultivation methods, or he'd long have stolen it. Kunpeng especially, if he knew demon transformation art was the way to combine sacred beast powers, he'd have acted on the spot. Zhuo Fan was startled awake and watched Kaior being covered by azure flames with the searing golden flames on top. Azure flame and golden flame overlapped and combined, forming a savage tornado, lifting Kaior up in the air. Zhuo Fan was baffled while Dragon Ancestor was calmer than ever. Boom! After the explosion, purple lightning burst forth, erasing the fire tornado. What followed was a flood of lightning everywhere, surrounding an 8-year-old girl with long purple hair and a purple robe. She was the most adorable creature, with her pink cheeks, bright eyes, and white teeth. Zhuo Fan was startled. Dragon Ancestor laughed. Ha ha ha, the transformation is complete. With some training, this child will be the next Thunder Phoenix. Adding Killen's son as well, the 5 great sacred beasts will once more gather. Dragon Ancestor, is she my daughter? Of course, father. Zhuo Fan blinked dumbstruck. The girl floated down as the purple lightning crackled around. She bore a bright smile as she skipped over to Zhuo Fan and jumped into his arms. Of course I'm your daughter. Can't you recognize me? Of course not. Zhuo Fan's eyelid twitched, hugging the little girl. Seeing the familiar expression in her eyes, he was feeling overwhelmed. If I could choose, a thunder skylark would be better. Kaior asked why. Now that I took human form, I'm really your daughter. Ha ha ha, you won't understand. Zhuo Fan turned solemn. With the way you are now, that means you become a sacred beast, taking on Thunder Phoenix's mantle. That means you'll become a target for Heavenly Sovereign. Then, you might even die. Blinking her big eyes, Kaior was confused. Who's that? Father, if you didn't want for me to transform, why let me? I had no choice. Sighing, Zhuo Fan glanced at Dragon Ancestor. It wasn't my decision to make. Smiling, the Dragon Ancestor nodded. Yes, I'd have it even if you refused. We need strength right now. Only with all 5 great sacred beasts will we have the greatest power. Alone, we're no match for Heavenly Sovereign. Zhuo Fan knew this, but was still conflicted. Leave the 2nd generation in my care for now. I'll make sure to unearth all her potential. Dragon Ancestor continued. His tone was irreproachable. Zhuo Fan nodded, but Kaior wouldn't have it, hugging his neck and whining. No, I want to go with father. No matter how amazing this kid is, he's just a human and has no idea of the true might of the glorious Thunder Phoenix. However, the Dragon Ancestor's tone was firm. Your mind might be sharp right now and can even understand Berserk Purple Lightning's usage, but that's too slow. By training with me, you'll soon know all of Thunder Phoenix's skills. You'll go home with him later on, but now you must stay with me to make sure you don't stray. Zhuo Fan acknowledged this as well. Yes, since you're meant to enter this storm, the best way is for you to get stronger. I can't teach you. Staying with Dragon Ancestor is better. Zhuo Fan placed Kaior down, then turned around without hesitation. Dragon Ancestor. Open the door and let me out. Sure, Dragon Ancestor clawed and a tunnel formed to the beautiful world outside. Kid, you're a man of ambition, knowing what must be done and not hesitating. Father, seeing him go. Kaior's voice trembled. I've never left your side since I was born. Zhuo Fan halted, struck by a pang of guilt, but he settled his heart, leaving without looking back. He knew from the moment Dragon Ancestor saw Kaior that he would want her to improve and make this simple Thunder Skylark enter the deadliest battle. As her father, Zhuo Fan had to do the best he could to give her the highest chance at survival. Father, as the door faded, Kaior cried out after him, with tears of abandonment flowing down her cheeks, but Zhuo Fan not once looked back till the end. Pa. When the door closed, Kaior's cries were cut off and Zhuo Fan sighed. His eyes closed to regain his calm, then walked forward with purpose. Heavenly Sovereign, the greatest threat was bearing down on him. No one could help him, and he couldn't help anyone either. All he could do was give his all to not get those he cared dragged down into this. The rest of his life was bound to be filled with solitude. He could only rely no use. The 5 great sacred beasts stuck with the same misfortune. Zhuo Fan barely took a step, and Yilin appeared, looking hesitant. Zhuo Fan simply brushed his shoulder as he walked on with a cold look. Hold on, Yilin finally spoke. Halting, Zhuo Fan asked, What? Master must have told you about everything. Yilin scratched his head. Our goal is the same. To help Master, we'll have to cooperate. As for the 8 whirlwind tunnels, I've already placed the drawing array in this secret realm. The others will be harder, even the ones in Western lands. We are, after all, disciples in the Western lands. Are you done? I'm leaving. Zhuo Fan spoke coldly. Yilin started. Wait, Master asked that we set the recoil array together. I don't need you. Zhuo Fan cut him off. You just stay being a Western lands disciple. I can do it on my own. Also, you saved my life and I'll definitely repay you. Shaking all over, Yilin watched Zhuo Fan go. He set his jaw and shouted, Brother. Startled, Zhuo Fan finally paused his step, looking at him oddly. What did you call me? Elder brother? Yilin hesitated with a lowered head. Sacred beasts have rules, making the winner king. Since I lost to you, you're the elder brother. Zhuo Fan turned around and resumed leaving. That is a beast's rule. We are men. Anyway, I'll return the favor for what you did. There's nothing else between us. Elder brother, it doesn't matter. Since I lost, I see you as king. Zhuo Fan never stopped walking. Also, senior brother sent a jade slip. Miss Chu is fine. They all think you're dead. Double Dragon Manor is rushing me to come back and report. Elder brother, come with me, or would you like me to send her a message? Trembling, Zhuo Fan stopped again, then left faster. No, just say, I'm dead. Come get your furs, the finest 4th level spiritual beast furs you can find. Iron, black iron, anything you need to make the sharpest spiritual weapons. Get your herbs right here, for miracle 3rd grade cures. The market was packed with peddlers shouting out their wares. They got swallowed in the tide of noisy people coming and going, haggling and bickering, always fighting for a profit. Among this sea of people, one lone figure seemed to drift through it, his black cloak fluttering in the wind. When he looked up, his cold face contrasted with the bustling scene. Looking around, he found people with long noses, big eyes, and foreign faces unlike anyone he saw in Tianyu. Zhuo Fan lowered his head again and milled through the crowd and out of here. Down here in the capital of Quanrong Empire, he was the foreigner. Like a nimble cat, Zhuo Fan's trace was gone without anyone taking notice. Zhuo Fan took a deep breath and floated through the bustling street like a ghost. Ever since he left Ultimate Clarity Sect, Zhuo Fan knew the danger he was in, fated to go in this world alone. But after giving it some thought, he still could not help but want to see them again. Elder Yuan, Luo clan, and... Haha, never mind King Cheng. He feared he'd never leave if he saw her. This was a kind of silent goodbye. He would be facing Heavenly Sovereign by himself. It was so convenient there was a whirlwind tunnel from Dragon Ancestor's sketch on his way. Since he was passing through, might as well leave a drawing array behind. But the Dragon Ancestor's map was a dubious sketch, a true amateur painter. He might as well know only the 8 locations of the tunnels, and that was pretty much it. At least he knew the rough location, with nothing to go on as to its exact spot. Best keep an ear out while I'm here. Zhuo Fan halted his steps with a grin. Next to him was a rowdy restaurant. When it came to listening, this place was the best location. With whirlwind tunnels gathered spiritual energy, it's bound to cause some strange occurrences that people can't miss. A native is sure to know more. Zhuo Fan looked up as he walked up to it, finding that it was made up of 8 3-meter big rocks. Quanrong are so crude, even their culture shows it. From the gate to their homes, nothing here inspires grandeur. Taking the capital's gate for instance, it was twice as tall as that of Tianyu, but not as polished. The capital of Tianyu was a work of art, filled with beauty and refinement. Every corner was thought out, every nook and cranny used, while the Quanrong capital only looked huge. Size was good, sure, but the rocks used in the buildings were uneven, as if made up at random. Maybe this was how their culture, one based on power and disregarding the details. As they associated themselves with spiritual beasts every day of the week for years and years, their belief in power would only be strengthened. There was a low chance for any sage like the three in Tianyu to appear. But this is also why the Quanrong stand united, while Tianyu is filled of bickering fools weakening the empire. This aspect alone would paint the barren Quanrong nation as stronger than Tianyu. Heaven really is amazing to create such wonderful discrepancies, weak yet strong, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan smiled as he walked in. The waiter spotted him and waved, "Will you be dining or staying?" "We have a quiet room, but it's a bit on the expensive side." "No need, I'll stay in the hall." Zhuo Fan shook his head and took a random seat at a table. The waiter lowered his head and saw that the cloak hid Zhuo Fan's features. "Guessed you're a foreigner." "Yeah, then where do you?" Zhuo Fan eyed him. "What, do I have to explain myself to stay here?" "No, it's just that there are hostilities recently and foreigners have to report." The waiter was put on the spot. Sighing, Zhuo Fan ignored him. He didn't give much thought to a lower three sect protecting some third-rate empire. Ever since the dragon ancestor used the golden flame to remake his body, his cultivation reached the 8th layer of radiant stage. As for his power, it grew exponentially, not limited to the draconic form Yilin had, tough and filled with decimating golden flame, but also wielding the apocalyptic thunderflame eye. That was why he had no qualms coming here. Just that he would much prefer it if he kept his nose down. "I come from Tianyu, any problem?" "You're from Tianyu?" The waiter shouted in shock and looked at him in hatred. That got everyone to turn their heads over with some unfriendly looks. "Why, you don't like Tianyu?" Zhuo Fan eyed the people around. Gnashing his teeth, the waiter was spat. "That's the least of it. We're mortal enemies. 8 years ago, Tianyu stole our richest lands, forcing us to leave our homes and live in poverty. Many of our soldiers died in the war with Tianyu, so you tell me if I could forget such hatred. War is all about death. Either you die or I die. This is normal. Moreover, it was you who invaded us first. The war was also within Tianyu. You're the attackers, although you failed in the end." Scratching his nose, Zhuo Fan spoke. "You struck first yet failed. Now you blame us for fighting back." The waiter glared in hatred and cursed. "Humph, what do you know? This is all Tianyu's twisted plan. They say we should help them settle their unrest, only to label us as invaders later and steal our land on top of it. All of you from Tianyu are nothing but snakes and greedy wastrels." The others nodded, looking at Zhuo Fan with red eyes. "Oh, that does make sense." Zhuo Fan nodded. "True, it was Tianyu's emperor at the time that invited you to help. I didn't think such a secret would reach the ears of a waiter. This must be the Quanrong emperor's campaign to keep his seat. But that's the truth, and I have nothing to deny it." But this was settled by the leadership, with the common people of Tianyu wholly disagreeing. Now that emperor lost, so of course he can't honor his promise to you. On the contrary, the enemy you two joined to fight ended up taking the power and came to settle scores with you. Since they had no deal with you, their enemies, of course they used you. The waiter's face twitched, then flicked his hand and barked. "Who cares? All we know is that anyone from Tianyu worked to cheat us. No, Tianyu has many factions. If you side with one, the others are bound to become your enemies. Losing in the end means you bet on the wrong horse. This isn't a matter of Tianyu people's character. For them, you looked like the aides of their enemies who came to kill them." Zhuo Fan waved his hand. "The only one to blame is your emperor and his faulty reasoning, involving himself in another empire's matter before understanding its workings. Also, with feeble soldiers, it's best to stay home and defend it than invade and incite things. Shut your pie hole." The waiter had had enough, shaking from anger. "Our emperor is the best in the world. After we lost our lands, he still made sure to settle us in the capital. Our commander is the best in the world, kind to his men and undefeated." Zhuo Fan mocked with a raised eyebrow. "The best emperor. Ha ha ha, he lost your land and you call him that after giving you some crumbs. Isn't that his duty to begin with? If he didn't even do that, he'd be failing as an emperor. The best commander. Chuoba ain't a bad old coot, but undefeated is a bit of a stretch at this point. At least in Tianyu, he lost all the way. How else would you end up without a home? Why, you little." Zhuo Fan's sharp mockery cut deep. The waiter and the others around were fuming mad. In the end, the waiter roared, "You dare slander our emperor and commander? You won't leave this place alive. Man of Tianyu will kill you." Everyone stood up and unleashed their bloodlust on Zhuo Fan as they came charging. Zhuo Fan had nothing better to do than yawn. a few profound heaven experts among a bunch of bone-tempering cultivators. What can nobodies like you do against a radiant stage expert in the 8th layer? Wait, radiant stage? Eyes wide, they all looked dumbstruck. We were too impulsive and got caught up in the flow. The silence was deafening. Everyone here looked at each other, then at Zhuo Fan with a dumb look, though neither budged an inch. The waiter was sweating now, shaking like a leaf next to Zhuo Fan and on the verge of tears. What's wrong with me? The least I could do was check his level before I let anger take me. Only now he saw that his bone-tempering cultivation wasn't enough to see through him. This was an obvious sign the other's level was way higher. The people in the restaurant sized Zhuo Fan up, then lamented their fates. We can't tell anything, we can't even touch him as we are. They all stood stiff in the same spot while Zhuo Fan snickered, what's the holdup? Didn't you want to kill me? No, no, no. Everyone shook their heads. Passersby like them would never reach his level. They'd just be mowed down if they attacked now. Zhuo Fan shook his head. I was wondering why the Quanrong Emperor would be so impulsive as to step into Tianyu's unrest. Now I see Quanrong are all brawn, attacking before even looking. It might sound like bravery, even heroism, but it's just a fancy way of calling someone an idiot. Before you start attacking, you should start flexing that thing you have for a head. Well, I guess you lost those hundreds of miles fair and square, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan's mockery made everyone's faces turn red. Zhuo Fan started off with defending himself, but now he was openly disregarding their emperor and their entire people. It made the Quanrong so angry and filled with hatred. Though not enough to attack, not when Zhuo Fan had the biggest fist around. Seeing them all so tense, Zhuo Fan smiled, though no longer toyed with them, since he had no intention of quarreling with the common folk. Since you guys won't do nothing, I'll attack, the waiter shouted, scared to death. A radiant stage cultivator could kill them with a thought, they'd be slaughtered. The others panicked and fell to their knees, begging for their lives. Rolling his eyes, Zhuo Fan huffed, who'd kill you? You're not even worth it. I was gonna say that since you won't start anything, I'll ask some questions and then you can just scram. Oh, just questions. Who the hell jumped the gun and said he'll attack? They relaxed at once, but then they recalled their panic and shameful act, looking for the instigator. Shit, that scared me to death. All eyes glared at the waiter. He lowered his head with resentment. Can you blame me? How would I know this guy is against the norms? Shouldn't it be if we don't attack, he will? Ignoring their reproaching looks, Zhuo Fan said, Waiter, I'll ask you first. What were those fights you were talking about? With who? You don't know? The waiter was stunned. Zhuo Fan rolled his eyes and cursed, why else am I asking you? Yeah, Senior asked you a question and you're quibbling. Hurry up and answer before Senior gets impatient. Waiter, cut the crap and answer. Everyone in the restaurant began to curse at him and make him feel glum. Damn these fools, switching sides at the drop of a hat. They were patriots a second ago alongside me, now they're this Tianyu guy's loyal dogs. Since you can't mess with a radiant stage cultivator, you take it out on a waiter. Zhuo Fan frowned and glared at them to quiet down. The waiter bowed, sir, we're at war with Tianyu. Since you're from Tianyu, I thought you knew. They're fighting again. Why? For how long? Around a month. The rumor is His Majesty received the full support from the Guardian sect, vowing to get our land back. The waiter sighed, and His Majesty wanted to make up for his mistake 8 years ago, so there's been a martial law in place at the borders to prevent any Tianyu spies from coming in. That's why when, sir, the patriotic waiter forgot who he was talking to, forgetting he was giving a strong guy from Tianyu a report, so he sewed his mouth shut. Something had to be wrong with his head to talk when he was aware of the situation. He may be, don't worry, I'm no spy. Zhuo Fan smiled, have you ever seen a spy exposing himself like me? Besides, it's common knowledge what you told me so far. I've been away from Tianyu for so many years and want to return. I couldn't know these things. The waiter sighed, relieved. I haven't sold my country. Zhuo Fan pondered carefully. There's a serious problem here. I saw the Luo clan's power and Quanrong didn't have the strength to invade Tianyu. Also, Beast Taming Sect is offering full support. Humph, it is only one sect while the other has 3 helping it. Unless something fishy is going on here. Did the higher powers reach some debased deal? What are you talking about, sir? The waiter asked, puzzled. Zhuo Fan waved his hand. Nothing, it doesn't involve you anyway. Quanrong won't win in any case. There's still something I want to know. Ha ha ha, do you guys have some wonderful scenery around of immense beauty? Scenery? The waiter was stumped, the people puzzled. He shook his head, sir. Quanrong isn't like Tianyu, with rich lands and great sceneries. We're barren, so where can there be such a place here? If you want to enjoy some places, you're better off going to Tianyu. They have far better sceneries. Then what about harsh mountains? Which is the most treacherous area, the place where livestock vanishes the most? Zhuo Fan squinted. Where the wind tunnel gathered spiritual energy, it did not mean paradise would always form. It might not be unlike the local areas, making it truly a danger zone. The waiter was still looking lost. Sir, where have you heard this? We're barren, but not in hell with a poisoned land. Wouldn't we have died off by now? Frowning, Zhuo Fan pondered. Were the all-dragon's senses out of whack when he made the sketch? There's no sign of the wind tunnel here. That would mean all the other spots were wrong as well. How am I supposed to find 8 wind tunnels on these huge lands? Zhuo Fan was worried. The waiter and the rest did not make a peep, afraid he would kill them. Everyone waited there for his words. Where's the owner? In this tense mood, heads turned as loud footsteps were heard coming into the locale. 2 built men in lavish clothes walked forward, their strong physique clearly making them out to be at peak profound heaven stage. The 6th prince has booked this place. All of you are to leave. The 2 tough guys stuck out their chests, looking smug and cocky, though they did not see the panic that unusually followed. In fact, the people were making shushing gestures in a rush. What's going on here? Are you all deaf? The 6th prince booked this place. Get out now. The 2 barked once more and the people looked at the 2 tough men trying to hint at them. See him? He can't be offended, so keep it down. Don't disturb him or we'll all get it. However, the 2 muscles did not get to shout again as Zhuo Fan's cold tone echoed. Who are the crazed dogs barking in my ear? How dare you? The 2 got so used to having their way, they began shouting at Zhuo Fan's complaint. Who are you to disturb the 6th prince? Boom, their tirade was cut short by an explosion. They exploded in a mist of blood while Zhuo Fan lowered his punch, lamenting. Where am I supposed to go from here? The sketch is a bust. The people in the restaurant paled, with some even slumping on the floor. Just 1 punch from an 8th layer radiant stage expert and 2 peak profound heaven cultivators were dead without even a corpse left behind. They died before even knowing what was coming. This guy is brutal, not holding back at all. Those 2 were the prince's men. The fear in everyone only grew as they looked at Zhuo Fan, shivering in their spots. Hua Lair, Hua Lasha, are you done? The prince is about to arrive. An aged voice sounded from a man with a white beard. Seeing the blood around, he shouted, What's with all this blood? Haven't I told you brats not to kill? How can you feast when there's blood around? Cleaning it up is such a pain too. The people glanced at the old guy but remained silent. He must think the blood comes from us. If only he knew they were his own 2 men. The old man walked inside as he shouted, Hua Lair, Hua Lasha, get out here right now, us. The old man bore a weird look. Why are there so many people around? 6 prince is about to arrive. The others gave him a pitiful look, then waited for Zhuo Fan to make his move. What's a prince against an 8th layer radiant stage cultivator? If we take a single step without his permission, we might just end up like those 2. Zhuo Fan was frowning and pondering what to do. The sketch lost its value and he was now stuck. He was so distracted, he did not notice the eerie mood in the restaurant. Sir, the old man wasn't as impulsive as the late 2. Noticing where all eyes were looking, he grew stiff as he sized Zhuo Fan up. Oh crap, an 8th layer radiant stage expert. He was only in the 4th layer and the prince's household had no such expert either. That was the reason behind his bow and address. Zhuo Fan was still vexed with his problem to pay him any mind. The old man turned to the waiter. Who is this, sir? The waiter shook his head. The old man looked around and got the same answer from the rest. Sighing, the old man asked, Where are the 2 tough men that came in? You're stepping on them. The waiter pointed at the blood. The old man shook and looked at all the red on the floor, then at the stumped Zhuo Fan in realization. The 2's brash attitudes must have irked this man and they ended up like this. This was bad. Messing with such a strong expert was anything but good. I have to settle it now. But he shows complete disregard to me, who is 4 layers beneath him. Since there's nothing I can do, I'll get help. The old man tiptoed 2 steps back, then ran like hell. The people were stunned, and you call yourself a man in 6th prince's service. Mere thugs that scare the weak ones and flee from anyone strong. Only Zhuo Fan was still lost in his thoughts, not registering this event. Whoosh, 4 powerful energies came into the restaurant moments later and forced the guests to falter back. 4 elders enter, with one of them being the same guy from before. But the leader was a blonde man with sharp eyes and far stronger. The people in the restaurant knew then and there that this guy was a true expert. Many who met his eyes felt dizzy and in shock. With these 4 so powerful, are they planning to take on the Tianyu expert? That will mean a brutal battle. Won't that end with us as collateral? The people were restless now, praying to anyone out there not to get dragged into this mess. It was beyond their expectations when they saw the blonde elder bowing before Zhuo Fan. I am High Venerable Jin Buhyuan of the 6th Prince from Quanrong Empire. I ask that you overlook the rude attitude of my men. Get lost, seeing as the strongest, Jin Buhyuan, was only 1 layer lower than him. Zhuo Fan couldn't care less. Stunned, Jin Buhyuan felt awkward, then his mood sank. He might be slightly weaker, but to get no respect at all, he had more men as well. If a fight broke out, it might even go in their favor. The white-bearded old man knew this and shouted, Sir, we respect you as fellow Radiant Stage cultivators and don't wish to fight. We are even willing to overlook killing our men, but even with your 8th layer radiant stage cultivation, among the best in Quanrong, it still won't be enough against numbers. Getting on the imperial family's bad side is ill-advised. I urge you to rethink and let's work this out as friends. Jin Buhyuan smiled and nodded at his Aprayak, neither humble nor confrontational, with words said with respect and reason. That should do it. Too bad they weren't dealing with your average radiant stage expert. Even a rotten bastard would listen, but not Zhuo Fan, who was loftier than the loftiest freak. All bark and no bite, Zhuo Fan mocked. You old coots yap for so long because your teeth must be dulled, ha ha ha. Jin Buhyuan's face twitched and grew red. He clenched his fists in rage. Damn punk, we're clearly being nice and you spit on our faces. Zhuo Fan smirked at them. He was annoyed the sketch was a bust and needed a good punching bag to feel better. It just so happened a few poor devils came right at his door. Jin Buhyun glared, Sir, I don't care who or how strong you are, but you're over the line. I will not take this lying down. Jin Buhyun exploded with power and bloodthirst as he charged at Zhuo Fan. The other 3 elders were right behind him. The oppressive power shook the entire restaurant. The people were pushed back under such pressure while Zhuo Fan just smiled. He was looking at 4 clowns doing their act. Zhuo Fan mocking gaze enraged Jin Buhyuan. He shouted and was about to strike. Stop! Halting all of a sudden, Jin Buhyuan looked back and bowed. Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow and saw a fashionable youth walking over. He must be their lord, that 6th prince. Ignoring the elders, the prince looked at Zhuo Fan in shock. His steps were shaky, his lips trembling. Yes, I'm the one that killed your 2 dogs. Now 4 more dogs came to bite me, so you should be coming in only after this is done. There's no need for any blustering either, being more than familiar with this play. Wait till I kill them. If you still want to die, I don't mind sending you off as well. Zhuo Fan waved him off like he was a beggar. The elders were furious and wanted to rip Zhuo Fan to pieces. But the youth was dancing in joy. Why, you're Zhuo Fan. How are you still alive? I'm your biggest fan. Zhuo Fan was perplexed, to say the least. Giving the youth a long look, Zhuo Fan grumbled and scratched his head. Have we met? Why can't I remember? Sir Zhuo, you never met me, but I have. Shaking from excitement, the youth came next to Zhuo Fan and looked at him with stars in his eyes. Zhuo Fan was put off. And who are you supposed to be? When did you see me? At the Double Dragon Gathering, Sir Zhuo. Recalling those glorious fights, the youth trembled, his voice shaky. I was Quanrong Empire's representative and witnessed Sir's punch erasing all of Beast Taming Sect's team and your rise to fame. From a lower 3 sect disciple to the best disciple in Western lands, I was moved to tears. Startled, Zhuo Fan finally reacted. So the kid saw me fight. No wonder I never noticed him. With so many people around, it would have been strange if he had. Though he finds this guy's choice of words peculiar. Kid, you're the 6th prince of Quanrong Empire. Yep, the prince was so excited just by the fact Zhuo Fan talked to him, like it was his honor or something. That would make Beast Taming Sect your guardian sect, so why would you be so thrilled to see me pulverizing them? Zhuo Fan was quite curious while the prince wrote it off. They're nothing more than our puppet masters. Their heinous disciples got used to doing anything they wanted, with no one standing up to them. That's why they looked like that at Double Dragon Gathering. They have nothing to do with us. In fact, Sir Zhuo's punch truly helped us vent. Oh, no problem, though you shouldn't call them heinous since those guys behind you aren't any better. Zhuo Fan nodded. The prince chuckled, totally accepting the blame. Sir Zhuo's lesson is true. I have indeed neglected my men's conduct. What does it have to do with me if you care or not? Zhuo Fan rolled his eyes. The 6th prince did not mind at all, taking all his words at face value. Yep, Sir Zhuo is a man of ambition, so why would you care about little old me's faults? But since Sir mentioned it, I'll be sure to rectify it. The 6th prince turned around and spoke harshly at the 4 elders. Venerable Jin, tell everyone they are forbidden from using their power on the people, or their heads will roll. How can we be seen the same way as those rotten bastards from Beast Taming Sect? How will Sir Zhuo see us then? Yes, sir. Jin Buhyuan bowed and then sighed at Zhuo Fan. To be honest, 6th prince was a whimsical guy who was only out to have fun, ignoring everything else. Quanrong Emperor tried teaching some sense to him, but he just wouldn't listen. Yet now a short word from Zhuo Fan got him on the straight and narrow. This is the power of an idol? Zhuo Fan felt helpless too. What's it got to do with me? Sir Zhuo, I've been hearing rumors that you've been killed. I've been offering bitter prayers and tears for your safe passing. You can ask them if you don't believe me. True. 6th prince looked excitedly at Zhuo Fan, then turned to his elders to echo him. They nodded their heads and attested to his conduct. Our prince is your biggest fan, though what is Sir doing here all of a sudden? Are the rumors fake? 6th prince asked. Grinning, Zhuo Fan mocked as his eyes took on a savage glint. They'll have another thing coming if they think I'll just drop dead. Cool, sixth prince squealed in adoration at Zhuo Fan's inadvertent posing. Then he turned to his elders, see that, this is Sir Zhuo, the best in double dragon gathering and my idol. Isn't he awesome? The four bobbed their heads with a bright smile. Yes, cool, very cool, though the four's hearts weren't that much into it. As the kids' men, they had to cater to his whims and lower themselves by idolizing his idol. Even Zhuo Fan was of the same opinion, feeling put off by this crazed fan. Though he was about to pick a fight despite the other backing down, the sixth prince's adoration deflated his anger. How could he when the kid was worshipping the ground he walked on? I better get out of here fast. Sixth prince saw him go and rushed to block him. Sir Zhuo, where are you going? You're finally in Quanrong, so how can you go without me being your host? That's fine. I couldn't find anything here I need, so I'll be going. Zhuo Fan chuckled and walked on. Sixth prince's sparkling eyes rolled about in thought, then he said, Sir Zhuo, what are you looking for? I know this place the best, so let me help. You, Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow, sizing him up. Of course, the whirlwind tunnel, with how weird it is, has a high chance of being taken by some really rich and powerful people. How can a nobody know about it? This kid is the sixth prince of Quanrong, of illustrious pedigree, and can hear many interesting tidbits. Zhuo Fan's eyes lit up. Great, then tell me, are there any spectacular places around here, or any harsh and deadly ones? Spectacular? The prince paused, then clapped. Have you come to enjoy our wonderful lands? In a way, Zhuo Fan strained to agree. Are there any particular landscapes about? Sixth prince beamed. You came to the right man. We have barren lands, but don't lack in some good views either. My new mansion just got built around a wonder like no other. You might even say it's heaven on earth. I dare say you'll never see anything like it in the whole 5 lands. Really? Zhuo Fan grinned. Sixth prince nodded in pride. Of course, the mighty are bound to steal it from me if they knew of it. Imperial father saw it and wanted to build a summer palace, but I fought him against it and took it from him. That marvel is mine and mine alone. Imperial father will have to ask me if he wants a peek, ha ha ha. Sir Zhuo, now that you're here, I'll hold a feast at once. Let us enjoy the beauty together with wine in hand. That's such a waste. Let's just go right now. Zhuo Fan was overjoyed and couldn't wait to get there. Such a godsend, coming right when he was at his lowest. Sixth prince nodded, leading the way with a bright smile. It was his pride and joy to do anything for Zhuo Fan. Jin Buhyuan came before the sixth prince before they could go. Prince, please wait. You had a fight with Elder Shi over a girl, and His Majesty asked you to make amends. I get that you did not want to receive him at your home, so you came here instead. But if you leave, won't you stand Elder Shi up? We can't have him blow up in anger. Why do I have to apologize to that snake? Humph, not happening. Sixth prince was stubborn. I saw that girl first, and that snake came to take her. He even killed all my men. Now Imperial father wants me to apologize, whatever for. A has-been elder of beast taming sect is nothing. All he knows is to come to Quanrong Imperial capital and be vile. Humph, the only reason I set a feast is because you cowards made me. Seeing the prince's attitude, Jin Buhyuan shook his head. Prince, it's just some jealousy over a girl. And those guards weren't much worth either. An elder, she is an ethereal stage expert that not even His Majesty can mess with. If not for beast taming sect holding him back, he'd be killing us as well. You have to apologize and settle his anger. You also said they lost power in the beast taming sect and it's nothing big yet, so let's make it stay like that. No and no, sixth prince pointed at Zhuo Fan in his temper. Sir Zhuo fears nothing, winning double dragon gathering by himself. I will follow his example and won't fear that snake. Sir Zhuo, let's go to the mansion for a drink. Let these old fools attend to that damn snake. Zhuo Fan watched the situation go out of hand and did not mind urging the prince to leave. He did not care about offending some ethereal stage expert that one day might come to take the prince's life. Jin Buhyuan saw through his intention and bowed. Sir Zhuo, sixth prince has always worshipped you. The news of your death had made him cry for 3 days. All of it is true. Have mercy and don't push master into the fire. Convince him to make amends with Elder Shi. As for the marvel, you'll be seeing it shortly after. Or I would be taking sir while master attends to the guest. Zhuo Fan pondered and nodded. All in all, the kid is my fan. While I have no intention of getting dragged into his problem, that doesn't mean I should make his situation worse. The old man has a good idea. Let the master deal with him and someone else will just take me there. Since he was after the whirlwind tunnel, what difference did it make on who took him there? While he might agree, the prince was totally against it, not happening. Sir Zhu is my honored guest. I have to do my utmost in fulfilling all of Sir Zhu's requests. As for that damn snake, let him rot for all I care. Sixth prince stormed out in anger. Zhuo Fan shrugged and followed. But just then Jin Buhyuan rushed next to him and spoke. Sir Zhuo, I've long since heard of the prince praising you, but he's also known to boast a lot, especially about the people he likes to no end. That's why I do not believe anything he said about you. You heard it yourself, an ethereal stage expert. If angered, he'd go to his majesty, and it would not end with his son taking the fall, but you becoming the scapegoat. For the sixth prince and for your safety, I urge you to convince him to placate Elder Shi and not let his temper flare out. True, a crazed fan like the sixth prince sure has it in him to do that. Zhuo Fan grinned. Only this one time, your master hasn't been boasting. A mere ethereal stage expert is nothing to me. If the prince truly helps me in finding what I seek, I don't see why I can't help you all skin this snake to spare you the trouble, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan walked out after the sixth prince, leaving Jin Buhyuan dumbstruck. Is he nuts? An eighth-layer radiant stage cultivator wants to fight an ethereal stage expert. No wonder the sixth prince became so obnoxious of late. What good is copying an idol like this? Closing his eyes, Jin Buhyuan felt pain in his heart. Elder Jin, the sixth prince is gone. What do we do when Elder Shi comes? The white elder asked tensely. Shaking his head, Elder Jin sighed. Master is too stubborn and we can only help him. I just hope Elder Shi will accept it. He shouldn't want to blow things out of proportion either, making his majesty send for beast-taming sect to take him away. Elder Jin turned towards the dumbstruck crowd in the restaurant. What are you standing around for? Didn't you hear our shout? We booked this place. Now scram, right. They all bobbed their heads and ran like the wind, finally getting their pardon. They were about to lose their lives under Zhuo Fan's demonic threat, shaking like leaves in fear. Now that they could leave, they were overjoyed they escaped with their lives. Furthermore, the people vowed never to set foot in this accursed restaurant again. The head of the restaurant would have cried if he knew his business had collapsed. Clean this place up and prepare the finest meals and drinks. We're holding a feast. Jin Buhyuan eyed the messed up place and shouted. The head of the place and the waiter went to work. In just 15 minutes, the restaurant looked brand new. Slow steps were heard and a youth with sharp eyes approached the locale. Looking it over, his mood sank. When you fall, all want to kick you. I might have made a mistake that one time and the sect threw me out, but I'm still an ethereal stage expert, damn it. The emperor should be welcoming me. Yet now a stinking brat is treating me in this wretched shack. Humph, where's the apology in that? Elder Shi, we've been waiting for you. Jin Buhyuan shouted as he led his 3 men outside the restaurant to bow in welcome. Elder Shi eyed him coldly. What's this supposed to mean? Where's your lord? That brat isn't welcoming me. Well, please don't be upset, Elder Shi. Wiping his sweaty brow, Jin Buhyuan hurriedly apologized. Prince was feeling unwell and could not come, so he had us. Enough, boom. Elder Shi flicked his sleeve and a powerful gale swept the 4. They left a trail of blood as they flew. Elder Shi gnashed his teeth. You 4 better get this straight. The only reason I tolerated some punks affront and agreed to this apology feast is all because of Quanrong Emperor. But since he doesn't care, he forced my hand. Whoosh, Elder Shi shot straight into the air. Jin Buhyuan's group cried out, he's going for the 6th prince's mansion. The prince is in danger. Venerable Jin, lighten up. Isn't the prince taking Zhuo Fan to his other mansion? He's not home right now. Yeah, and besides, we still got time to report. We can't delay or the prince might die. Jin Buhyuan bobbed his head, straightened his wounded body and flew away with blood dripping from him. The other 3 bore through the pain and followed closely. Meanwhile, Zhuo Fan and the 6th prince arrived at a remote mountain, at a place among a forest where a mansion was perfectly blended with the surroundings. Its guards were profound heaven experts. The prince bowed to Zhuo Fan before the door and smiled. Sir Zhuo, after you. Zhuo Fan nodded and strolled right in. 6th prince skipped after him like a good servant and was happy for it. The guards were dumbstruck. The rash, impulsive, outrageous 6th prince of theirs knew how to be polite. Even when seeing the emperor, this kid would never show any respect. Being the youngest, his majesty doted on him, which made him grow up without any restraints. The fact that he gave up and let his son have the spot for his mansion showed just how much he cared. But now, hey, who's he? Why's the prince acting like that? Don't know, maybe the father-in-law or brother-in-law. Why else would he be more respectful than when seeing his father? Oh, so the prince finally met his other half. It's good that he stopped visiting brothels, ha ha ha. The guards whispered while the 6th prince led Zhuo Fan to a large building. Zhuo Fan shot the prince a puzzled look. Grinning, the prince pointed at it. Sir Zhuo, the magnificence of the land can only be enjoyed in the truest sense from atop this building. Oh, really? Zhuo Fan frowned, though not bothered that much. Since the wind tunnel couldn't be just seen, might as well just play the guest. And so the prince took Zhuo Fan 18 stories high to an elegant room. The prince then walked to the window and opened it, letting in the fresh breeze of humid mountain air. Beyond the window was a 300-meter waterfall. Its immense drop felt like it was descending from the heavens above. Zhuo Fan was stunned, turning his stiff face around. 6th prince, is this the view you were talking about? Yes, isn't it marvelous? The prince spoke with pride. Sir Zhuo, you know as well how poor the land in Quanrong is. Such a waterfall is a rarity. That's why I had an array placed to hide it and only enjoyed from this place. Even Imperial Father can only come once a month to appreciate this wonder, while I can come every day, ha ha ha. Sir Zhuo, this view is great my ass, Zhuo Fan snapped as he rained curses. The waterfall is nice and that's it. There's plenty more like it in Tianyu. You think I wasted my time coming here for this thing? I wanted a place with strange occurrences, out of this world even. Something like getting in but can't get out, or a spot where meditating a day equals 10 years. The sixth prince looked like a hurt puppy with his lowered head. But didn't you say you came to see Quanrong's scenery? This is the best we could find. It's fine, I was wrong here for not being clear. It seems Quanrong doesn't have what I seek. I'm leaving. Zhuo Fan sighed and turned away. The sixth prince rushed to stop him. Wait, Sir Zhuo. You're leaving so soon? At least stay for a few days. No thanks, it seems the sketch is useless. I'll go look someplace else. Hold on, the prince cried. You said you wanted to see strange places. Well, Big Brother has such a place. I'll take you there. Your brother? Yes, my elder brother, Quanrong's crown prince. Sixth prince nodded, his eyes shining with hope. Zhuo Fan nodded after a pause. All right, let's go to your brother. Sixth prince perked up, skipping over to Zhuo Fan and about to lead him like an overexcited child. Zhuo Fan chuckled. He really is my greatest fan. Is he that happy to be around me? Sixth prince, run, elder, she's coming. A shout came from the window, and the two saw Jin Buhyuan's group covered in blood and collapsing from their flight, spitting blood again. Sixth prince helped them up. What happened, Venerable Jin? Why are you all like this? Cough, run, prince. Elder, she went on a killing spree to your mansion. We used this chance to warn you. You have to get to the imperial palace. With his majesty around, maybe his anger can be subdued. That bastard did this to you. His brow shaking, sixth prince hissed. Absurd. Even for a beast-taming sect elder, this is too much. Those three have been thrown out of the sect for their mistakes, and now they're taking it out on the common folk. Beast-taming sect did cast them out, but they're still its elders. They still have power. The sect will cover for them as long as nothing serious happens. Jin Buhyuan shook his head and sighed. Ignoring the fact they were thrown out, they're still in the ethereal stage. Who in the empire would fight them? Prince, we all admire your principles, but I'll have to step out of line here. You're too naive. There are some things, some men that you can't mess with. Sixth prince's brow quivered as he cursed. Those damn geezers, making the entire imperial capital restless, and now they even have the nerve to come after me. Won't that mean they have no restraint against anyone else? How can we rule the Quanrong Empire in this state? No, I have to plead that imperial father to remove those three bastards. It's no use. Of course his majesty would want that as well, but no one is strong enough. Jin Buhyuan was filled with pain. Those three geezers got kicked out of beast-taming sect and now are running amok. Sixth prince shook in anger, but then he suddenly went still and peeked at Zhuo Fan. In the end, he spoke his mind. Sir Zhuo, what do you think I should do? If I weren't here, your best bet would be hiding in the imperial palace. And you old coots, you were better off sending someone to give us a message while going to imperial palace to seek help instead. Jin Buhyuan jerked and facepalmed in regret. Why didn't I think of that? Right, I should have sent someone to report to his majesty. What am I to do since you're here then? Ignoring Zhuo Fan's proposal, sixth prince wanted to know his stance, whether he'd help. Zhuo Fan spoke calmly, nothing at all. As long what? Sixth prince asked in hope. With an evil grin, Zhuo Fan replied, as long as you take me to the strange place of Crown Prince, you can then do like I suggested, hide in the imperial palace. The prince's face twitched. He knew Zhuo Fan's power, yet the man refused him in the end. Humph, sixth prince's life is at an end and you still want to go to Crown Prince? Jin Buhyuan growled. Sixth prince treated you like a guest, and this ridiculous idea is your reply. I knew you wouldn't want to get involved as you're not in the ethereal stage, but at least your plan is sound. Zhuo Fan admitted. Then you go hide in the imperial palace while I go seek Crown Prince alone. The great Crown Prince's manor should be an easy find. Zhuo Fan shot to the skies. Wait, Sir Zhuo, let me take you. Sixth prince rushed after him. Jin Buhyuan shook his head and followed as well, about to blow a gasket. Prince, let him go. Your safety's more important. I can't let death scare me from living. The great Sir Zhuo I admire is now here, so how can I not go hang out with him? The prince glared and rushed on. Sir Zhuo, wait for me. They quickly left the building and went away. Whoosh, just then a savage cackle resounded. Ha ha ha, brat, so this is where you are. You offended me, and against my better judgment, I decided to hear your father out in letting you apologize. But you actually stood me up. Humph, now even if the emperor pleaded for you, it still won't save you. Damn, elder, she caught up. Why so soon? Jin Buhyuan rushed to protect the prince. The ethereal stage expert floated down, looking at the four elders with a twisted smile, mere radiant stage cultivators. Don't you know the fear of ethereal stage experts? Sixth prince, today is the day you, Elder, she looked at the prince's grave face, but then he paused. His face twisted like he saw his worst enemy, you. Elder, she stared at Zhuo Fan next to the prince. Zhuo Fan paused, looking around, but didn't see anyone. Stop faking, I'm talking to you. Elder Shi clenched his fists, his bloodshot eyes squinting at Zhuo Fan as his rage exploded. 8 years have gone and now I finally get to meet you again. Scratching his head, Zhuo Fan asked, stumped. We know each other? No, ha ha ha, not just that. If it weren't for you, bastard, I would have never been thrown out of the sect and lived miserably like this. Howling in sadness, Elder Shi's eyes reflected only hatred. I had nightmares more nights than I could count about that white hair and those eyes. I swore to never forget the pain you brought me. Zhuo Fan was perplexed. What's your beef with me? Why can't I remember you? Who are you supposed to be anyway? Ha ha ha, you're so forgetful I see, though it's natural since I've changed my looks. Snickering, Elder Shi said, Brat, you still remember the war 8 years ago in Tianyu. You ruined my body. 8 years, I bore that shame with me for 8 damn years. With my body ruined, even getting a new one, my cultivation had stagnated. When I could have managed to reach the 5th layer of ethereal stage, but now the 2nd layer is all this body can allow. But this wasn't the reason for sect leaders' banishment. It's all due to losing that war and letting the demon-scheming sect grab hold of proof of our involvement. Then the other 2 sects forced our sect to pay up in spirit stones, making us the criminal. Henceforth, my path was ruined, abandoned by the sect as well. All of this is your fault. You ruined my life. Brat, now that we met, I'll end you in 6th Prince, getting rid of all the rancor. Ignoring the coin, Zhuo Fan squinted in thought, then exclaimed, Oh. So that obscene snake shed his skin. Almost didn't recognize you there. He, Sir Zhuo, it seems you're involved now. You can't stand aside as it is. 6th Prince was overjoyed. The 4 elders were startled. What use would he have if he joins? We're all in the radiant stage anyway, unable to face an ethereal stage expert. Only the prince had complete confidence in Zhuo Fan. Scratching his nose, Zhuo Fan nodded. Yeah, I can't go around going easy on my enemies, now can I, since I already suffered for it once. Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed with coldness and bloodthirst. Elder Shi shook for some reason, feeling like a beast had its eyes on him and sending a deep-seated fear in his bones. But then he shook his head to shake it off. There's no way, he's just a radiant stage punk. How can he threaten me? Boom, before he could make sense of it all, an explosion resounded. A force like no other shot through Elder Shi, the large building behind him, and then stopped in the large waterfall where it went off. A tornado of dust engulfed the sky, mixing with the water turned into mist, roaring as it grew, linking heaven and earth. When the dust finally settled, what reflected in everyone's eyes was utter destruction. The 18-story-high building was gone, so was the 300-tall waterfall. But what was more important was that Elder Shi was nowhere in sight. Everywhere the people looked, they were welcomed with a flat and barren land. Zhuo Fan lowered his fist, his eyes cold, annoying, SSS gasping. Jin Buhyuan and everyone else were lost for words. Cool, 6th Prince was the first to recover and whooped in joy. Lowering his mighty right hand, Zhuo Fan looked like he had done a trifle thing. He patted the 6th Prince's shoulder. Now hurry along and take me to the Crown Prince. I hope I'll find what I seek there. Sure thing. After a brief pause of shock, the prince shouted in excitement as he went first. Jin Buhyuan and his 3 men were shell-shocked, just watching the 2 go with a dull look. Holy hell. He really is as strong as 6th Prince said. For once, he didn't boast. He's way stronger than he lets on, killing an ethereal stage expert in 1 punch even. Thank God we didn't fight him before. We'd have been killed as well. The 4 shivered when they recalled the scene at the restaurant. Zhuo Fan and the prince were a way off when a rumble echoed out and the earth shook. A huge image of a python came out of the ground, hissing, Damn punk, you ruined my body again. I'm going to eat you alive. It's Elder Shi's soul. Jin Buhyuan cried out. In the radiant stage, the body might be strong, but the soul isn't up to an ethereal stage expert's level. We're done for. Jin Buhyuan panicked and Elder Shi snickered. Yes, brat, you ambushed me again and ruined my body, but there's no way a radiant stage like you can deal with my soul. Whoosh. He didn't finish as a scarlet dragon claw came out of Zhuo Fan and gripped the squirming, oversized garden snake. He choked on his words, with those sharp eyes reflecting fear like no other. This is a soul? How? He's only in the radiant stage. Humph, this is what you get for being stupid. You could have just floated away as your soul, but no, you had to be suicidal. Ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed and the scarlet dragon claw squeezed. The oversized snake wailed one last time as it was reduced to motes of spiritual energy scattered around. The dragon claw went back to Zhuo Fan and resumed following 6th Prince like nothing happened. Jin Buhyuan's face twitched with a dumb look. As they watched Zhuo Fan going about his way, they all had the same shocked look and idea. Since when can a radiant stage cultivator form his soul? A true freak. Meanwhile, a man and a woman were sitting in a pavilion next to a graceful lake. The man wore a crown and was presentable, stacked in jewelry, though his elegance was ruined by his sinister smile, especially when aimed at the woman next to him. As for the woman, she was a beaut, bright eyes, sculpted eyebrows. Alas, the image was marred somewhat by her constant frown. Around them were singing and dancing girls. But as the obscene music and suggestive dancing of the women in their sheer attire continued, Lioner, the daughter of Quanrong's high commander, bit her lip. The man smirked, one hand groping around a woman's waist, opening his mouth and letting her tender finger feed him fruits. Sometimes it wasn't just the fingers. The man let out an obnoxious laughter now and then, filled with lust. Lioner was sickened by it, but helpless against it. Lioner gathered all her bravery to ask, "Crown Prince, would it be possible to release my brother?" Him, the man raised an eyebrow. In front of the whole nation, he punched me. How could I just let him go after his blatant disregard for authority? Clenching her fists, Lioner bit her lip harder. Brother was wrong in striking your highness, but he was doing it to protect me. It was all my fault. I hope your highness would consider Chuoba family's wholehearted service to Quanrong and release my brother at once. Lioner will never forget your highness's gesture. Oh, never you say. Crown Prince sized her fine figure up and broke out in a lustful grin. I don't need that long, just attending to me for the rest of your life would do, hee hee hee. Your highness, Lioner cried out and jerked away at his obscene gaze on her. Then she trembled as she spoke. Please mind yourself, your highness. Throwing the beauty in his arms away, the crown prince became bored, speaking coldly. Tauba Lioner, don't you play coy with me. Be grateful I have the time to waste on you. Tauba has been a great family for a long time, but ever since your defeat 8 years ago, costing the empire heavily, you're now criminals. Imperial father did not execute the old Chuoba Taishan and only demoted him to captain of the guards. This is already gratitude enough for all his service. All of this was possible because I pleaded your case. What do you think would have happened if I hadn't? You'd be stripped of everything and goddamned hanged. Lioner bit her lip with a lowered head. And what do you do? Humph, Crown Prince went on with his tirade. Damn ingrates, I even asked for your hand, yet that old Tauba Coot actually refused my kind gesture. I thought his mind woke up when he came to visit me in person afterward, but he only came to me for help. That elder, she had set his eyes on you ever since the war in Tianyu. His soul was redeemed by the sect, so that geezer now wants to use my name to curb elder she's tendencies. As my future concubine, if a sect cast out touched you, even an ethereal stage expert, he'd still pay for it. Shaking all over, Lioner lowered her head in silence. The crown prince walked before her with a hard face. I accepted becoming your shield, but as long as you're mine, that old coot won't ever touch you then, but you just don't know when to quit. Saying you want to be with me only to drag out the wedding. This has been going for 8 years already. Are you taking me for a fool you use for your own amusement? Forgive me, your highness, jerking, Lioner faltered with teary eyes. Looking at her pretty face with a dead look, the crown prince caressed her soft cheek. As she shivered, his eyes shone with desire, shouting, I don't need your apology, I want you. The crown prince threw himself at her and hugged her, wanting to take her by force. No, your highness, Lioner struggled and wailed. In the end, she had to use her yuan qi to throw him off. He broke 4 stone pillars and wailed in pain. The crown prince, in his ostentatious attire, a pill-grown peak profound heaven expert, had just been thrown on the ground by a girl in the 8th layer. His never-ending lust had sapped his body of all the power that would make his cultivation high. He was the very opposite of Zhuo Fan. While Zhuo Fan's strength overshadowed his cultivation, Crown Prince's was nothing but an empty shell, worse than that of some rich boy. Getting a grip on his aching body to stand up straight, Crown Prince was enraged. Why you? Your highness, it wasn't on purpose. Lioner cowered on the verge of tears. Panting like an animal, the crown prince snarled, You have the glory of becoming my concubine, far above those dissolute women. But over these 8 years, despite not getting married, I not once got to touch you. When I tried to get closer, your brother punched me, and today you do this. You're my concubine, yet I'm forced to go to someone else. And no, your highness. Please listen, enough, the crown prince shouted in anger. Guards, bring that Chuoba Liu Feng. Yes, sir. At his order, a few men left to carry it. Soon they had a tied and familiar man brought over. He looked roughed up, judging by the battered face, though his features were still clear enough to see he was Chuoba Liu Feng, Commander Chuoba Taishan's sole son. Only now the young commander was wretched, having lost his heroic heir years back. Brother, Lioner saw her brother having experienced torture under the crown prince, and her heart was in pain, with tears in her eyes. Chuoba Liu Feng cried out, Sister, what are you doing here? Run, Humph, why else would she be here if not to plead for you? The crown prince grinned. Laying your hands on a member of the imperial family is punishable by death. No matter who pleads for you in court, I have the final say if you get to be released. I can even have the Chuoba family removed from the Quanrong Empire. Ha ha ha, Chuoba Liu Feng, everyone says you're a brilliant warrior, a wise young commander, so why were you so impulsive to hit me? That punch has shattered the future of your entire family. Chuoba Liu Feng shook and spat. Crown Prince, I had no intention of doing anything, but you went too far when you tried to force yourself on my sister. Force. She's my concubine to begin with. What business does her brother have in this? Humph. The crown prince cut him off and turned to the girl with a twisted smile. Lioner, you're my concubine. Fulfill your duty and ha ha ha, I'll forget about this, letting this brother-in-law keep his life. When I ascend the throne, the Tauba family will rise again to its former glory. Refuse and well, the crown prince threatened, it won't be just your brother's life on the line. Your father and your family's 8 servants will follow him to his grave. I vow there won't remain even a Tauba dog alive after I'm through with you. Shuddering, Lioner paled from dread. Chuoba Liufeng cursed in hatred, Crown Prince, take it out on me if you're a man. Leave my family out of this. Lioner, don't listen to his twisted words. Your life will be ruined if you agree. Father and I will never agree to marry this. That's enough, brother, Lioner shouted, looking frail as she spoke. Your Highness, let him go. I'll do all you ask. The Crown Prince had a winning smirk. Chuoba Liufeng cried out, no. Lioner's crystal tears began rolling down her cheeks as the despair took her. Your Highness, 6th Prince is here with a strange youth. He requests an audience. A guard came to report. The Crown Prince flicked him away in annoyance. That idiotic little brother of mine has the worst timing. I won't see him. Tell him to scram. Today's my most glorious day. I'm not in the mood to cater to his whims. I'll notify 6th Prince at once. The guard left. The Crown Prince drew closer to Lioner with a disgusting leer in his eyes. His hands shook and his mouth watered in anticipation of having his fill of this fine lady's exquisite curves. Lioner, I finally have you. This is heaven on earth, ha ha ha. Then my brother, Lioner muttered. The Crown Prince sneered and waved. After we seal the deal, he'll be my brother-in-law. I won't go hard on him. Ha ha ha. Great, that's great. Lioner nodded in despair, her eyes losing their light. Chuoba Liufeng's eyes burned with hatred and humiliation. A man like him actually needed his sister to save him. Boom, the sudden huge explosion rattled everyone's composure. The Crown Prince cried out, what's going on here? Whoosh, a guard flew over in panic. Your Highness, 6th Prince's guest is forcing his way over. What, does brother plan on rebelling to fight his way into my home? The Crown Prince was fuming. What are you doing standing around for? Take the men and capture them, tie him up and bring him here. I'll have Imperial Father sort him out. For God's sake, Imperial Father spoils him too much. He even dares to barge into my home. The guard was hesitant. Your Highness, 6th Prince's guest is too strong. We can't even hold him back. All the men we send over are dead. I barely made it out alive to report to you and urge you to flee. They're almost upon us. Boom. His words were cut short by the rumbling explosion from behind, sending a fierce gust of dust all around. When it settled, 2 men waltzed out of fresh ruins around them. To make it worse, the joking manner they carried themselves with made it look like they weren't just walking all over the Crown Prince's lavish home, or what was left of it. 6th Prince, is this the way? Sir Zhuo, just up ahead, yes. Last time I saw the amazing scene in Crown Prince's manor right around here, the still pond. 6th Prince was all smiles as he led the way. It's truly a wonder. I wanted this manor too, but elder brother just wouldn't budge. Not even Imperial Father would help me, saying Crown Prince's manor is too important to give to me. That is not proper. Zhuo Fan nodded. True, this ain't just about the manor, but the name of the Crown Prince. If the Crown Prince's stuff gets shared to everyone, won't that make him useless? So no matter how much the Emperor dots on you, he still won't do something so absurd as to affect the Imperial family's image. That does make sense, actually. 6th Prince nodded, then became confused again. Doesn't that mean barging in like that will affect elder brother's image just as well? He is Crown Prince after all, so ruining his manor is a bit. Zhuo Fan glanced at him. Why should I care? 6th Prince jerked and his eyes glittered. Cooled, the two enjoyed the short stroll to the pavilion, looking about like they were window shopping, anywhere but at the host of this now ruined manor. It didn't get more disrespectful than this. The Crown Prince exploded in fury. 6th Prince, what the hell? Are you revolting? Why did you barge your way in here? That's totally not it, elder brother. My idol came, so I had to play the kind host. Since you have a marvelous natural attraction here, I just brought him over for a look-see. Look your ass. The Crown Prince had it, roaring, this is the Crown Prince's manor. Yet you destroyed it regardless just for that damn flimsy reason? You're outrageous. Zhuo Fan and the 6th Prince didn't pay him any mind. Zhuo Fan was still looking around the place with a frown. There's nothing special about this place as well. Where's that wonder you talked about? That lake over there, it's a real rarity. I promise it won't disappoint, Sir Zhuo, he. 6th Prince stuck to him like glue as he flattered. The Crown Prince was outraged at the blatant disregard. Lioner's dead eyes picked up Zhuo Fan looking everywhere and her hope renewed. Zhuo Fan, why you're Zhuo Fan? Yeah, you. Zhuo Fan had to focus for a second to really place where he had seen her before. Oh, Chuoba Taishan's daughter, Lioner, it's been a while, how have you been? With a weak smile, Lioner sighed in response. Zhuo Fan shrugged and walked next to the lake, ignoring all the extra people around. It's not at all what I need. Oh well, I knew it was a long shot even when I came here. Sigh, so where exactly is this amazing scenery, sixth prince? Sir Zhuo, it's the lake. The prince skipped before him and pointed. Zhuo Fan scanned the place, still ignoring everyone else. Lionel felt pain in her heart. Why was it that he was always so disregarding to everyone when she saw him? But this had to be why the people he did notice would forever be in his mind. Lionel's features softened, gazing at his inquisitive look. Ignoring the rare gentleness on his concubine's face, the crown prince shook from the humiliation and anger. Call all the venerables in this manner. I want this obnoxious fool to meet a swift end. Let him know the price of ruining my home. Yes, sir, the guard bowed and left at once. Zhuo Fan didn't know this, still looking at the lake. The hog-tied Chuoba Liu Feng saw this and shouted, Zhuo Fan, crown prince is calling reinforcements. Take my sister and run, never come back to Quanrong. Who's he now? Zhuo Fan turned to where the voice came from. The crown prince's eyes were on fire from the hatred he put in his glare at Chuoba Liu Feng. He went over and kicked the tied-up young commander into the air. Humph, you must have a death wish inviting enemies. Brother, Lionel cried out. Zhuo Fan looked on with a frown at the unrecognizable Chuoba Liu Feng from all the beating. He then nodded. You're that guy playing commander back in Tianyu, Chuoba Liu Feng. My, how cool you are now, almost can't hold it in even. PFF, Sixth Prince grinned, ha ha ha, Sir Zhuo, do you have something against young Tauba? He's in serious trouble right now, yet you're still being mean. Lionel glared at Zhuo Fan in anger. Well, on the last battlefield we were on opposite sides, though nothing more than that. Shrugging, Zhuo Fan had a flat look, returning to inspecting the lake. Sixth Prince, where's that marvel you keep talking about? Chuoba Liu Feng shouted in panic. Zhuo Fan, Crown Prince has many experts. Don't be reckless and wait for them or it'll be too late. I only hope you take my sister with you when you go. Help her out of this hell. God damn it, you're still talking, you're still spilling the beans. Chuoba Liu Feng's kind reminder had no effect on Zhuo Fan whatsoever. Instead, it only incensed the Crown Prince further. And so the Crown Prince did what he knew best, kicking the helpless Chuoba Liu Feng over and over again. Zhuo Fan ignored it all, his mind on the lake still. Lionel was panicking and begged, Zhuo Fan, please save my brother. He'll die. Her voice fell on deaf ears. Zhuo Fan, my brother is being beaten up for informing you and you're just going to stand there. Lionel teared up, her tone becoming sharper. You damn ingrate. Zhuo Fan glanced over, ingrate. Did I ask him to? He gets what he deserves for running his mouth. Zhuo Fan bit back. Lionel only grew angrier, but all she could do was stare as the Crown Prince was beating her brother. Sixth Prince, the lake is as plain as it gets. You aren't toying with me, are you? After one last look at the water, Zhuo Fan threw a cold look at Sixth Prince, while Chuoba Liu Feng's mournful howls sounded in the distance. Sixth Prince had a vague smile. He, it needs to be triggered first. What trigger? Zhuo Fan lit up. Pointing at the brutal Crown Prince, Sixth Prince grinned. By throwing snow lotus seeds in, a 6th grade pill ingredient that only grows on our Quanrong's Woolera snow peak will definitely get a reaction. Those seeds are something only elder brother has. Crown Prince, Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed, but Sixth Prince followed with a frown. Brother is petty and would never use the snow lotus seeds when asked. The only times he'd take them out was at holidays or Imperial Father's birthday. Sir Zhuo, what do you plan to do? Zhuo Fan was walking towards Crown Prince and grabbed him in mid-swing. Startled, the Crown Prince looked back at Zhuo Fan in anger. What do you think you're doing? Are you planning on saving this traitor? Humph, of course you would, since you're on the same side. He even informed you just now. You really think you can save him and leave? Now hold on a second. Zhuo Fan shook his head. Your Highness, even if you beat him to death, that's your problem. It has nothing to do with me. Lionel glared at him. The hope she had when he grabbed Crown Prince now turned into hatred. The Crown Prince took Zhuo Fan for being afraid and grew bolder. Humph, rotten punk, are you begging for mercy? Humph, well, too bad. When my venerables come, you'll all leave this place as corpses. Oh, let's just leave that for later. Zhuo Fan was calm as he spoke. I just need a snow lotus seed from you. I want to see just what fascinating spectacle you got here. Snow lotus seed, the Crown Prince mocked. You want to see the beauty of this marvel? Ha ha ha, this is Quanrong's proof of good fortune, and only the imperial family is allowed to appreciate its beauty. Bam. Zhuo Fan flicked his hand and slammed his head into a nearby convenient stone pillar. The Crown Prince's delicate features were now marred with blood, and even some teeth fell off. This was how an eminent figure was reduced to a grotesque creature, looking worse off even when compared to the beaten Chuoba Liu Feng. Startled, all were shocked Zhuo Fan was actually so savage against the Crown Prince. Bringing Crown Prince's head around, Zhuo Fan spoke coldly, the snow lotus seed. You don't even think, my men are coming. Bam. Zhuo Fan returned to having Crown Prince's face make intimate and brutal contact with a hard rock again and again for good measure. When he thought it was enough, he brought Crown Prince around, his face unrecognizable. The snow lotus seed, Zhuo Fan demanded. Why you? Bam, the snow lotus seed. Bam, Zhuo Fan just kept on smashing his face into a rock while asking. The crown prince might think himself some big shot from the imperial family, but Zhuo Fan thrashed him all the same until he bawled. The snow lotus seed, Zhuo Fan roared this time, but crown prince had long since fallen silent. Enraged, Zhuo Fan returned to smashing, but then he noticed the flailing arms pointing at his bloody and toothless mouth. Zhuo Fan now realized the guy was unable to speak. The victim pointed to a building on the side as he groaned in tears. Pondering for a bit, Zhuo Fan looked at Sixth Prince. Is he saying the seed is in that building? Sixth Prince, you know how it looks, so go look for it. Sure thing. The prince laughed and skipped over to the building. He didn't so much as bat an eye as his dear elder brother's face was tenderized into an unrecognizable slop. He's one evil brat, Zhuo Fan thought, flicking his hand and throwing the limp crown prince away, returning to the lake and staring down at it. Lioner and Chuoba Liufeng were dumbstruck. Zhuo Fan was cold as a rock when talked to, but when he struck, he was a volcano. Even Lioner felt a pang of sorrow when looking at the new makeover done on the crown prince's face. No matter how big the grudge, such an outcome is too brutal, going after his face when it was so charming before. But then the two awoke at the dire situation they were in. Oh no, Chuoba Liufeng shot to his feet and shouted, Zhuo Fan, by harming the crown prince you became Quanrong's enemy. Take my sister and go, you won't make it out when the experts come. Lioner looked tense at Zhuo Fan, then at Chuoba Liufeng. Brother, why don't we just go with father and the rest? This place doesn't want us anymore. I also thought about it, but father is ever loyal to his country. He will never betray it. Chuoba Liufeng sighed. Lioner lowered her head in worry and vexation. Glancing over, Zhuo Fan finally recalled the past dealing and said, Dugu Xianxia also died because of his loyalty to his country. I must say, these two geezers sure are alike, ha ha ha. The siblings nodded. The marshal and commander had received such praise from the people was not just from their glorious military victories, but also their loyal character. Zhuo Fan, my father and I may die, but Lioner must not lose her life in a place like this. All I ask is that you take her, let the Tauba line go on. No, I still need to see the spectacle here. Chuoba Liufeng begged Zhuo Fan once more, but Zhuo Fan refused, his reason only making the brother feel helpless. Brother, is that eye candy more important than our lives? Eye candy, Zhuo Fan frowned. Is that all this place amounts to, some fancy view? A laughter broke his concentration. Ha ha ha, you think you can just walk away after ruining Crown Prince's home? Are you taking us for props? 9 powerful energies surrounded the place as elders appeared before them. Damn it, the 9 venerables of the Crown Prince Manor are here. They're at the 8th or 9th layer radiant stage, with 4 even at the peak. We're doomed, Chuoba Liufeng cried. Lioner clenched her clammy fists while Zhuo Fan frowned. Not because of the elders, of course, but that he got to the wrong place again. Whoosh, 9 old men landed, sporting cruel looks at the trio. Among them, one guy with scattered hair, the strongest, stepped up and spat, Humph, you must have a death wish to destroy Crown Prince's manor. Where is his highness? Chuoba Liufeng's heart sank, feeling sweat trickling down his spine. Just this guy alone was enough to deal with them, a peak radiant stage expert. In a couple of years, he should be a true ethereal stage expert as well, becoming one of the Empire's legends, one of the best. With him here, the 3 had no chance of getting away. Chuoba Liufeng sighed at the grim outlook, his hopes gone. I wonder if Zhuo Fan's sudden arrival was a blessing or a curse. His sister was free of the Crown Prince for now since Zhuo Fan's intervention, but now the Tauba family would be killed because of his aggressive handling of the Crown Prince. They might even be labeled as traitors. Tauba Lioner understood they were in serious danger, and her eyes still gave contemplative look to a somewhat oblivious Zhuo Fan. I asked you a question. Where's his highness? Seeing them silent, the old man roared. Chuoba Liufeng shook, finding speaking difficult. Tauba Lioner pointed to where the Crown Prince was lying with a cold face, over there. I wonder if you still recognize him. That's Crown Prince. They all gasped at the sobbing, gruesome mismatch of features that barely hinted at what once was. Their elegant and handsome Crown Prince was now reduced to this thing. Those eyes were swollen out of their sockets, the nose more twisted than a ravine, and the former spotless denture turned into a bloody hole. The only reason they even noticed him was because Tauba Lioner pointed out. Stunned seeing a face only a mother could love, the old man roared, it's Crown Prince's signature feature. What gave you the nerve to harm the Crown Prince like this? You're done for, whoosh, the old man's anger exploded. Talk, who did this? I'll peel his skin and crush his bones. It'll be ages before I'm through with him. Chuoba Liufeng panicked under the 9's auras. Zhuo Fan was still in his own world, contemplating more important stuff. Venerables, I did it. If you want to kill someone, kill me. Lioner scrounged up her courage and declared. Chuoba Liufeng cried, sister. It's fine. Lionel cut him off. This is all my fault. Tianyu used to say women were deadly, and now I have to admit they were right. If it weren't for me, the Taoba family would never have ended up like this. It's all my fault, and I should settle it. Lionel spoke with sadness and despair. Chuoba Liufeng's clenched fists shook, feeling utterly useless. Lionel wanted to use her life to settle it all and save the Taoba family. No, the family was already finished. She was giving him and Zhuo Fan the chance to get away, but how could her brother just let his sister take the blame? Chuoba Liufeng roared at Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan, you bastard, is that how a man behaves, letting a woman take the fall for you? Brother, Lionel cried out, having made up her mind. So why was her brother dragging Zhuo Fan into this? Chuoba Liufeng was firm when he saw Lionel's despair. Harming the crown prince was a heavy crime, akin to assassinating a royal member or rebelling. He could not let it hang over Lionel's head. All of this happened because Zhuo Fan showed up. The 9 venerables finally noticed Zhuo Fan that they ignored since he looked so quiet to the side. The 9 people tensed. 8th layer radiant stage, he does have the power. The leading elder squinted and snickered. I see what's going on. You're the one who made a mess of Crown Prince's manor. Ha ha ha, I knew it was odd for a girl to admit it. When the guard reported to us, he said that none of them could fight back. How could a wee girl be so tough? Seeing your high cultivation, it all makes sense. If we 9 hadn't come, none in the Crown Prince manor would be able to hold you, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan's mind was still processing. The leading elder took it for cowardice and mocked. Ha ha ha, here I thought you had guts when attacking Crown Prince, but now I see you're full of it. It's understandable, as not even an 8th layer radiant stage cultivator can escape from us 9. Being scared is normal, but to have a girl take the blame for you, talk about useless, ha ha ha. The other 8 looked at Zhuo Fan with the same disdain as their leader. Sir Zhuo, I brought the snow lotus seeds. A whoop of joy sounded in the distance. 6th prince skipped over to Zhuo Fan in excitement. Zhuo Fan woke up at last, staring only at the 6th prince's figure. Took you long enough. Hurry up and throw them in. I want to see just how fancy this thing is. The mockery was stuck in the 9 elders' throats seeing him ignore them. The 2 soon joined and started throwing seeds into the lake while watching for any signs. The elders' faces sank. For God's sake, here we thought he was scared when in fact he didn't give a damn about us. He's toying with us. Boy, don't think that your high cultivation is enough to do what you want in Quanrong. You ruined Crown Prince Manor and I'll have you pay for that. 6th prince, I heard this is eye candy. Isn't that so average? Sir Zhuo, this is a true marvel, I promise. It's a true rare spectacle in this world that won't disappoint, hee hee. Oh, I'm relieved. Let's just watch. Zhuo Fan and 6th prince were curious about the lake, even ignoring the elders' raving curses. Blatant disregard, that was what this was. The old man's face twitched as he barked, let's get this damn faker, men. I want him dead. Yes, sir. The other elders bowed and shot for Zhuo Fan. Their mighty auras, filled with bloodthirst, covered the sky. Lionel cried, look out, Zhuo Fan. Oh no, the bloodthirst is affecting the lake and it's too scared to react. The 6th prince shivered and cried. Zhuo Fan's face twitched and his face sank. Turning around and seeing the incoming 8 elders, he roared, damn geezers, stop bothering me. Who a mighty gale shot out that went through the 8 elders. The old men lost their lives before even knowing what happened, slumping to the ground like a ton of bricks. Chuoba Liufeng and Lionel were shell-shocked. What was that? Bang. A crisp sound echoed and the leading elder felt his legs soften, kneeling on the ground. He was in the lead when the gale had struck him as well. Now he looked deathly pale and overcome with horror. And no way, that's soul impact. An ethereal stage expert, Zhuo Fan went back to his problem, the lake. He asked, 6th prince, now it's quiet, will it show up? Yeah, soon, 6th prince grinned. The 2 looked like they came to sightsee. They were calm and the mood was calm too, finally. Only Chuoba Liufeng, Lionel, and the surviving elder looked at Zhuo Fan with fear. This guy is even more terrible than before. All kinds of thoughts ran through Chuoba Liufeng's mind. 15 minutes later, the still lake rippled. The snow lotus seeds floated inside, releasing bubbles. As each bubble burst, the seed below it was gone. The ripples became more and more numerous. Zhuo Fan looked focused, watching as flowers floated to the water surface from deep below, swaying in the sunlight. A total of 1,000 flowers appeared, moving about as if they were dancing. Zhuo Fan's eyelid twitched, looking straight at the 6th prince. The prince was smug. Well, Sir Zhuo, isn't it fab? Hee hee hee. Zhuo Fan nodded. If it were only a couple of flowers having spirituality, it wouldn't be much. Maybe it was something related to their species. But with 1,000 different flowers all showing the same reaction, living at the bottom of the lake, now that was different. Just what was the deep hiding for such a scene to occur? Is there really a whirlwind tunnel in here? Zhuo Fan asked the sixth prince. You just say this won't be just some eye candy, a fancy view. What did you mean by that? Well, the sixth prince wiggled his eyebrow with a vague smile. Revival, something I bet not even Sir Zhuo has ever experienced. Revival? Zhuo Fan frowned. Understanding his thoughts, the sixth prince skipped over to the ghastly-looking crown prince. My elder brother is the perfect candidate for Sir to witness this event. Sixth prince grabbed snow lotus seeds and threw them high, shouting, "Eat it, flower fairy!" Bang. With a loud burst, the lake exploded, with a water sprout jutting out and wiggling in the air to catch them all. Then it shot back into the lake, sending a shower of fine water droplets. Each drop released a faint golden glow in contact with anything. When they touched the crown prince, one could see how with every drop his disfigured face was recovering. Even his teeth grew back. Even the somewhat far Chuoba Liufeng, who the golden glow did not reach, was healed in moments. Zhuo Fan was looking inquisitively, hand on his chin, quick recovery, along the lines of my returning dragon's roar, if not stronger. Sir Zhuo, well, isn't it amazing? The sixth prince grinned. The crown prince shot to his feet, looking at Zhuo Fan with fear. Then he scurried away, wanting nothing to do with him. Zhuo Fan nodded, taking one step to pop in the crown prince's face. He grabbed his skull, cracking it on some random rock and giving him that revolting look again before throwing him to the ground. The crown prince wailed, his bloody and toothless mouth straining to speak. I didn't do or say anything. So why? The sixth prince was curious as well. Zhuo Fan shrugged. It'll be more peaceful without his bullshit poisoning the air again. This works, the sixth prince started. The crown prince cried, filled with grief. Yes, this worked like a charm. While the Tauba siblings looked at Zhuo Fan in silence, he was the only one running his mouth and showing off. His Highness had been a victim to maltreatment twice now, at the hand of the same demon, yet the second time made no sense. This was just not Crown Prince's day. He got beaten in his own home and twice on top of that. Ignoring the others, Zhuo Fan stared at the lake, then at the 8 dead elders. It was obvious the golden glow was not capable of true revival, only good at healing, just that it was far stronger than most pills. With them having their soul crushed, there was no way to make a comeback. Next was finding out where this golden glow came from. Zhuo Fan lifted his right hand, covered in a red and brutal glow. Kill an arm, Zhuo Fan flicked his hand right at the lake. Boom. The motion was that of a savage sword, splitting the lake in two. The water towered up to 300 meters as it rumbled to the sides. It left the lake bed completely exposed. Sir Zhuo, what are you doing? The sixth prince was shocked by his action. Zhuo Fan spoke, checking what's below, but there should be nothing there. The sixth prince sighed. Ever since discovering this marvel, elder brother had sent people down there but found nothing. Zhuo Fan stared hard at it, then said, just because they failed, that doesn't mean I will too. Something odd is going on here. Squinting, Zhuo Fan's soul covered the lake, feeling every nook and cranny with no results. Is there really nothing? Just then, when he was about to give up, he felt something to one side. Focusing on the spot, Zhuo Fan still got nothing. Then it happened again. Zhuo Fan focused, and his right eye sported 6 golden halos. Divine Eye of the Void, 6th stage, Void Domain, bang. Feeling like he had hit a wall, Zhuo Fan snickered. He then pointed forward, and his eye released its power. A palm-sized space pocket formed before him, holding in it a finger-sized golden person. It had transparent wings, humming as they flapped. Its hand was holding on to some snow lotus seeds, looking at Zhuo Fan in panic. What's that thing? The sixth prince cried out in curiosity. Zhuo Fan said, flower spirit, a being born of this world, like a fire spirit or blood spirit. It's nurtured by the world until it gains spirituality. The flower spirit is a being of wood, an element with brimming vitality. That's why it can heal so perfectly. Although weak in battle, having it around is much better than having pills. Blinking, the sixth prince looked confused, but the least he could catch from that was that it was precious. The flower spirit is nature's favorite and good at hiding. No powerful expert would ever sense it, least of all catch it. A shame my void domain can create a space pocket. As long as I can sense the location, setting it up will trap this little guy, ha ha ha. Holding the flower spirit, Zhuo Fan had a manic grin. Isn't that right? It kept struggling to flee, but Zhuo Fan tightened his grip, making its effort useless until it gave up. Boom, the huge water expunged from the lake finally came down in a mighty roar. Zhuo Fan ignored it and held the ferry as he left. The sixth prince hurriedly asked, where are you going, Sir Zhuo? Finding what I came for. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone in glee. A special place with thick spiritual energy is needed to give birth to a fairy. This lake has none of that, which means it moved here. Now I'll have this guy lead the way, taking me to my destination, hee. The sixth prince followed after him. Sir Zhuo, I'm coming too. The fairy crossed its arms and looked at Zhuo Fan in resentment, like that was not gonna happen. Ha ha ha, little guy, you sure are feisty. With an evil grin, Zhuo Fan stared at its hard face as a black thunderflame flashed in his left eye. Sometimes, being stubborn comes with a price. Are you ready for it? Shuddering, the flower spirit sweated, bobbing its head and water gathered beneath it, as if it peed itself from fear. That thunderflame made it feel like destruction was nigh. Zhuo Fan held a tight grip on the spirit as he left, the sixth prince his faithful fan. As for the Taobas, Zhuo Fan had better things to do than mind them. The peak radiant stage elder, now scared to death, was still kneeling and shaking like a leaf. He still couldn't get over the fact Zhuo Fan killed 8 of his men in a flash. He not once looked at me. Watching Zhuo Fan's back, Lioner's mood fell. She started off feeling despair, then hope, then shock, then despair again, but she ended the cycle with anger. Chuoba Liufeng sighed. Lioner, cut me loose and remove the seal on me. Right. Lioner now recalled her brother's predicament and rushed to release his yuan qi. Chuoba Liufeng finally got his freedom back. Looking around, seeing the old man lost in his own world, Chuoba Liufeng said, Lioner, this time it's grave. We best rush to father. We have to try and flee with him. With the crown prince's manor ruined, the consequences are dire. Zhuo Fan is an uncaring monster, stirring things up and making us suffer for it. We have no choice but to flee our home. Brother, how can you say that? Glaring at him in dissatisfaction, Lioner pouted. If not for him, we both would have suffered at Crown Prince's hand. I can't even think about what he'd have done. Chuoba Liufeng nodded. Yeah, while the punk ruined everything, he did help us. We should be grateful for it, but we first have to flee from here and not get dragged into this any further. Lioner nodded and the two flew away, leaving the elder behind, still too horrified to react. High venerable footsteps were heard as a guard looked around to see only the shell-shocked elder. The elder still didn't react. Sighing, the guard shouted in his ear, High venerable, the monster is gone. Shaking, the elder finally came out of his stupor. Seeing Zhuo Fan was nowhere around, he sighed and got up, but then he felt chilly below. Looking down, there was a wet patch. PFF, the guard chuckled and the old man went red. His glare wiped the smirk off the guard's face. Did that guy leave? Long ago. How long? 15 minutes, the guard bowed. Squinting, the elder nodded. Why did you only wake me up now? Because the Taoba siblings. Bam. The guard's words were cut short by the old man's palm, slapping him dead. Glancing over, the elder's eyes grew hard. Damn fool, you think you'll still get to live after seeing all that? Humph, the elder's eyes darted around. Assured no one else was around, he took out a fresh pair of pants from his ring and changed. He then rushed to the crown prince's side. Your highness, what's wrong? Here, take this healing pill. No, the crown prince's eyes glinted with hatred, slurring his words through non-existent teeth. Take me to elder who I want them to take revenge. The elder bowed, understood. He grabbed the prince and left. There was a wide courtyard in the capital, one that had a large lion statue with the words honor and loyalty engraved on it. Above the gate were the words Taoba Manor writ. Unlike the imposing gate, the wind that blew was a cold and bitter one, carrying with it a bleak tone along with the dust of the capital. Inside the manor, 2 men sat upright in the middle of the room, the former commander of Quanrong and the imperial tutor, Han Taimo. Frowning, Chuoba Taishan hesitated before finally jumping to his feet in revulsion. Guards, summon the 8 wolf wardens. I'm going to Crown Prince Manor myself. Wait, brother Taoba. You can't let it devolve any further, Han Taimo urged. Shaking his head, Chuoba Taishan was vexed. Brother, Liufeng is my only son, now trapped in Crown Prince Manor. How am I supposed to calm down when his highness is capable of anything? No matter how restless you are, you can't just go with the city guards. Han Taimo shook his head. The minute you resort to using the guards, and against the crown prince too, that would be the moment you'll be taken as a traitor. Then no one can save you. Let's say you get to mobilize all the men, what then? You're now the captain of the guards, not Commander Taoba, leader of millions. Commander Taoba Manor is packed with experts, 9 venerables of immense power. Even if you go, it won't make a difference, so what's the point? Bam. Slamming the table, Chuoba Taishan glared. Even so, as a father, the least I can do is try. Calm down, brother Taoba. Han Taimo sighed. Why don't we assemble the court's officials and plead to His Majesty to be lenient on account of your past? Chuoba Taishan shook his head. No use, His Majesty issued an unbreakable decree this time, leaving Crown Prince in charge of this. Any that interferes will be executed. Who in the court would be willing to meddle in this? Han Taimo sighed. His Majesty is too easy on the Crown Prince, yet cruel to his ministers. People's opinion of him will sour. Master, a cry came as a servant rushed before Chuoba Taishan. Why, young miss, she? What about her? Chuoba Taishan cried. The servant girl jerked. Young miss knocked me out and ran away. She must be going to Crown Prince Manor to save young master. Damn that girl, is she trying to anger me to death? Chuoba Taishan was panicking, shouting, have the 8 wolf wardens assemble the men, surround Crown Prince Manor. Brother Taoba, you must calm down. No, not this time. At the very least, I'll have the 2 children flee while I shoulder the blame. Chuoba Taishan's mind was made up. Sighing, Han Taimo shouted after him, Chuo Bataishan, do you really plan on throwing away all you accomplished? Are you going to become a criminal to Quanrong? Chuo Bataishan shook, but his eyes were firm. As the commander of Quanrong, I have fought for my country all my life and shall never betray it. No matter how much His Majesty forsakes me, I will not complain. But I am also a father. How can I just sit by and watch my children bear unjust crimes? Han Taimo, today I may be convicted of crimes and my head will hang high above the city gates. I will have no regrets knowing I did all I could for the future of my children. Chuo Bataishan was soon gone. Han Taimo sighed and got up to follow. Commander, the men are here. We await your orders. Outside the manor, the 8 wolf wardens were gathered. Chuo Bataishan eyed them and shouted, we march. Yes, sir, the 8 wolf wardens bowed, glee dancing in their eyes. The last 8 years had been spent in unrest, hardly ever fighting and always held back. Now they were going to let loose against the crown prince no less, yet they were still joyful. It was their honor to serve under the commander. Wait, Chuo Bataishan, Han Taimo caught up. Chuo Bataishan didn't even look back. My mind is set. I'm not trying to sway you. I want to come with you, old friend. It would be great if I can convince His Highness to let them go. If not, I'll be most willing to be labeled a traitor alongside you. Shaking, Chuo Bataishan laughed. Good, ha ha ha. The army marched, their spirits uplifted, their drive ignited. Yet after 2 steps, a staggering figure entered their vision, an imperial palace guard. Did His Majesty find out already? Did he come to stop us? Chuo Bataishan and the rest were tense. If this was the emperor's decree, then before them had to be a huge army to block their path. But the imperial guard actually went and panicked at their sight. Commander Tauba, you truly are the empire's god of war, of such brilliant mind as to foresee the imperial palace is in peril and send the men to aid it. The imperial palace is in danger. Chuo Bataishan and the rest were stunned. Panting, the imperial guard showed fear. Yes, the 6th prince brought a youth as he barged into the imperial palace. He's unstoppable. He's almost at His Majesty's chambers. Boom, waves upon waves of imperial guards poured out of the palace gates, only to be blown away by rumbling explosions as pieces of their former selves. With a constant drizzle of blood going on, it marked the dark and cruel end of tens of thousands of soldiers. Zhuo Fan flicked his red right fist and looked uncaringly at the flower spirit held tightly in his left. It was like he was out mowing a lawn or something and not butchering people. Which way is it this time? Don't try to play me, you pint. Shuddering in fear, the flower spirit shook its head and pointed at a large wall. Boom, another rumble sounded. Zhuo Fan found it a waste of time circling around to use the front gate, so he just made a new one right here in the 50-meter-tall wall. The 6th prince, sticking close like any true fanboy would, was mulling over whether Zhuo Fan had stopped being human at this point as he kept charging in like a raging beast. If there was no way, he'd find it. Anyone that stepped between him and his goal would leave the scene as a corpse. Or maybe Zhuo Fan no longer registered these people as living beings, merely as obstacles. 6th Prince Sir Zhuo is truly reckless. This is the imperial palace he's barging into, killing left and right. With his insane power, it won't matter who he steps on, but once he's gone, you'll be left behind. He'll go, wiping his hands of it all, and you'll take the fall. Jin Buhuan and his 3 elders were overwhelmed by what they saw, crying and fearful as he urged the prince. They had followed the 2 all the way here, following Zhuo Fan's wake of destruction from the Crown Prince Manor. Now that they saw Zhuo Fan's brutality for themselves, they feared for their lord. 6th Prince, we have to leave now, while His Majesty is yet to realize your involvement. We'll then say he forced us when we're questioned and be absolved of any blame. 6th Prince was thinking, but he snapped, Humph, Sir Zhuo is my honored guest. I said I'll take him to what he's searching, and that's what I'll do. Since it's about to be found, I will accompany Sir Zhuo to confirm this. If you're scared, you're welcome to leave. Flicking his sleeves, 6th Prince huffed and shooed the 4 away as he caught up to Zhuo Fan with a chuckle. Sir Zhuo, wait for me, this is insane. Jin Buhuan sighed, but then decided. To hell with it, then he went after as well. 6th Prince was their lord after all. Zhuo Fan stepped through anything that came before him, men or stone, with a few men following behind him with worry. What would they do once Zhuo Fan walked away? 6th Prince didn't look to have given this problem much thought, always beaming as he watched his idol at work. Why, Your Majesty, the criminal is just 1,000 meters away. I beg Your Majesty to flee. Why, Your Majesty, he is at 800 meters. Please flee, Your Majesty. Your Majesty. In a tranquil garden, the peace was broken as all kinds of nervous voices shouted. The imperial guards just kept on coming one after the other, fully distraught and panicking as they reported. What they said was almost always the same, that the criminal was getting closer and they could not stop it. The people in the palace were afraid now, but also suspicious. Where did such a freak come from all of a sudden? When did Quanrong mess with such a godly expert? None could make sense of it, not even the emperor in his golden robe. He was now frowning, stressed out by the sudden and brutal development. He had no idea what unforgivable sin might have been committed to deserve such retribution. The Quanrong Empire had the beast-taming sect's protection. While totally disdained, beast-taming sect would still care about its name and defend it. So why, boom, the emperor's thoughts were blown away by the sound. Looking over, he saw a hill being blown away not 100 meters from where he was. When the dust cleared, a handful of people walked out. In the lead was Zhuo Fan, the main culprit, with the emperor's sixth son at his side. Following a few steps behind were his venerables. The emperor's mouth twitched, his face falling. Son, now you're trying to rebel. What are you doing charging into the imperial palace with an outsider? Is it because I didn't give you crown prince's manor? Haven't I made it up to you with that glorious waterfall? Did you have to go this far? I'm such a fool looking after you. Imperial father, what are you saying? This is no rebellion, nor do I want your seat. You just have to sit tight and not move, have a feast, get the girls to dance and ignore us. Sixth prince rolled his eyes. The emperor was stunned. If this is not a rebellion, why are you barging into the imperial palace? How's it my fault? Sticking out his chin, the sixth prince spoke with pride and honor. I wanted to go in, but those guards just wouldn't listen. My dear guest is quite impatient as well, wanting to get in at once. Those guards stopped us without reason, so we just went through them. The emperor's brow shook as he sized Zhuo Fan up. You broke into the imperial palace because you're impatient. Have you lost it? Couldn't you have waited for an audience with me? Shrugging, the sixth prince remained silent. Ignoring their argument, Zhuo Fan looked at the spirit, pointing the way to a rock garden. This way. Wait, what are you doing? The emperor shouted in panic. Zhuo Fan never paid him any mind. The sixth prince also followed Zhuo Fan like before, making the emperor twitch. The emperor roared, son, stop him. Can't do, imperial father. How can I do what thousands of guards couldn't? The sixth prince shrugged with a chuckle. Sighing, the emperor held his head. It's over, disaster is upon us. What criminal dares to make a ruckus with Cultivation around? Following this shout, Cultivation marched his thousands of troops into the garden surrounding it. The 8 wolf wardens appeared before Zhuo Fan, filled with battle spirit. Your Majesty, I ask that you forgive my delay. Cultivation cupped his hands at the emperor. The emperor was overjoyed. It's fine, Commander Tauba. You came just in time. Catch that man, stop him from destroying everything. Yes, sir. Cultivation bowed and shouted, 8 wolf wardens, arrest that man. The 8 wolf wardens were about to obey. Wait. The Tauba siblings took this moment to arrive. Cultivation cried out, Liu Feng, you all, father, please hurry and stop the wardens. We can't touch this man. We'll only earn more casualties. Rushing before the commander, Liu Feng and Lioner urged him. Having seen Zhuo Fan's mighty power, they were totally convinced that not even the entire Tauba family and its army would be of any use. Cultivation was shocked. The Tauba family was one devoted to serving their nation, always brave and sharp, never cowardly, but these two were urging him to stand down. Who is this man to make them ask their own father to stop? Is there no hope at all? Cultivation looked over closer, finding the culprit familiar, the best steward in Tianyu, Zhuo Fan. The 8 wolf wardens looked as well and were shocked to the core. Zha Lahan still remembered the bitterness he suffered back then. Faced with this old enemy, old fears resurfaced, fears powerful enough to make them falter. Zhuo Fan never spoke a word so far, but then the emperor said, Commander Tauba, you know him. Not just know him, he is the only one in my entire life that made me lose in battle, Cultivation sighed. The emperor cried, you mean 8 years ago, the second god of war in Tianyu, Dugu Zhanshan's replacement. But what's he doing in Quanrong? Is he a spy? The entire Tauba family tensed, looking at the emperor with twitching faces. Your Majesty, have you ever seen a commander resorting to grunt work? Your Majesty, I don't think he would do that himself. Cultivation shook his head, turning back to Zhuo Fan and shouting, Zhuo Fan, since you had the nerve to barge into Quanrong imperial capital, I as its captain of the guards shall arrest you. Father, Cultivation started to shout, turning to see his son and daughter shaking their heads. Father, that's the worst thing you could possibly do. He's more savage than before. Confused, Cultivation scratched his head. Once bitten, twice shy. The last time we only lost against an army. But now he's all alone against all of us. Yet you're telling me I still can't take him. Father, don't look down on him just for being alone. He'll still mow us down. The Tauba siblings knew what he was thinking, constantly shaking their heads. Cultivation was still perplexed as to why. Ha ha ha, is the destroyer of Crown Prince's manor here? 4 figures landed. Elder Hu, he's the one. The Crown Prince's high venerable carried the bedridden Crown Prince as he bowed before a muscled youth. The Crown Prince crawled higher on the high venerable's back and cursed when he saw Zhuo Fan. Elder Hu, he's the one. Kill him. With me here, all will be over soon. The man turned to Zhuo Fan and then widened his eyes, roaring, You again, brat. Zhuo Fan was perplexed. Another youth next to Elder Hu stomped hard as his features twisted. Rotten punk, I guess you don't recognize us now, but we certainly do. After that loss, we vowed that one day we'll pull every bone from your body and make you experience pain like no other. Who thought that today will be the day we'll do it? No one will save you now, ha ha ha, not even heaven itself. The man cackled, releasing his mighty aura and making even High Venerable shake in fear. This is the power of an ethereal stage expert. So strong, Elder Lang, you have something with the kid too? The High Venerable asked. Great, now old and new grievances will be washed away today. Elder Lang's eyes were bloodshot. Humph, just a grievance. That day in Tianyu, he ruined my body. Who he didn't finish as a whistling sound was heard, followed by a large scarlet dragon claw grabbing all four of them. The four struggled for nothing, as even their souls were stuck in the draconic grip. Elder Hu's eyes bugged out. What is this? Soul? You're a radiant stage cultivator. How can you form a soul? Why is it so strong? The scarlet dragon claw came from behind Zhuo Fan like a third hand. Zhuo Fan looked annoyed right now. Since you survived, keep your nose down. Why the hell are two fleas coming to buzz in my ears about old times? Bam, the dragon claw clenched and the four exploded in a shower of blood, splattering on everyone around. The victims had no chance to even wail their demise, destroyed in body and soul, including the two ethereal stage cultivators. The witnesses were speechless. Two ethereal stage experts and a peak radiant stage cultivator were squashed like bugs. Cultivation looked from his children to Zhuo Fan, now understanding their fear. Zhuo Fan was no longer human to be able to kill ethereal stage experts so easily. The 8 wolf wardens faltered and shivered. Zhuo Fan was worlds above them. Even before, alone they were no match for Zhuo Fan, but using human wave tactics they could stall him, something impossible right now. Zhuo Fan was beyond their reach, and eerie silence fell. Everyone regarded Zhuo Fan with fear. An ethereal stage expert was seen as a god by these people, but they died all the same in the easiest manner possible. Taking back the claw, Zhuo Fan returned to his calm demeanor. Sixth Prince, this pint is pointing at that hill. Is there something off about it? Shouldn't be. That is a view I often visited when I was small. It should be fine. The sixth prince was puzzled as he looked around. Zhuo Fan inspected his surroundings and smiled. So it's a concealing array, one powered by sacred stones. No wonder it's hard to see, but what's it hiding? Void annihilation. With a creepy smile, Zhuo Fan's right eye flashed golden twice. Rumble, something broke then and everyone's view changed. It was like a mirror had just suffered a crack and started crumbling and vanishing. Before them was a pitch-black cave in the hill. The flower fairy pointed right at it. Grinning, Zhuo Fan walked forward, but a shout came. Wait, sir. Zhuo Fan started and turned to the speaker, the Quanrong Emperor. Only this time the Emperor had lost his panicking look, turning grave. Sir, no matter who you are, if you go in, you may not come back. This barrier is Quanrong's shame and also a catalyst. You shouldn't have broken it. No one can stop me from getting what I want. Thanks for the reminder. Zhuo Fan walked forward without hesitation and jumped in. The sixth prince followed him, but the emperor shouted, Son, Imperial Father, actually, I knew of this place long ago. The sixth prince smiled, his eyes sharp. This is our empire's shame and the imperial family's disgrace. One day this barrier would have been lifted, only no one dared to, but I believe Sir Zhuo would be the one to break everything. I have seen his might in the double dragon gathering. He's not like those hypocrites. The sixth prince jumped in. The emperor wanted to stop him but could only sigh as he was too late. Cultivation was puzzled. Your Majesty, what's in there? Why, old Commander Tauba, if they don't come out, take your men and run, or they would destroy. The emperor sighed and shook his head. Who's they? Whoosh, however, a figure flashed by and Lioner jumped right in. Tauba Lioner rushed after her. Lioner, 4 people had just gone into the dark cave, their signature lost. Cultivation was sweating, but the emperor held his shoulder. Old Commander, it's all up to luck now. Seeing how easy the man killed 2 ethereal stage experts, I hope he will be able to bring everyone back. Then I wish for Commander Tauba to take my son and go. Shaking, Cultivation looked at the emperor, lost, his face grave. Why would His Majesty ask me to flee with his son? Is the enemy, Your Majesty, Crown Prince's body. Feed it to the dogs. The emperor's eyes were filled with hatred. Cultivation was shocked more than ever. Meanwhile, Zhuo Fan landed in the cave and all he saw was a winding path through the earth. The flower spirit pointed onward and Zhuo Fan nodded. But then he heard a shout from above and Zhuo Fan shook his head. Sidestepping, he witnessed 3 mighty thumps as 3 people landed hard on their rear. Why are you here? You can tell from the concealing array and sacred stones. This is beyond the reach of the realm of sects, a place where we'll be facing real experts. You're forfeiting your lives by coming here. Seeing the 3 weird faces as they struggled to get up, Zhuo Fan reminded them. The 6th prince snickered. He, Sir Zhuo, if I said I'll take you to where you want to go, then I'm not about to give up halfway. I can find the rest of the way by myself, Zhuo Fan spoke. Frowning, Lioner held Zhuo Fan in a steady gaze. We already offended the crown prince. His Majesty said this place hides some great calamity for Quanrong as well. I want to prevail here and ask His Majesty for forgiveness. The fact that something was sealed here shows it's beyond something any of you can handle. This gamble will end with your death." Glancing over, Zhuo Fan turned to Chuoba Liufeng. "And what's your excuse?" Scratching his distracted back, Chuoba Liufeng panted as he pointed at Lionel. "I came for her. Funny enough, your reason is the most plausible." "Now take them and get out." Zhuo Fan nodded and walked further in. The sixth prince and Lionel spoke hastily. "We're not leaving, we're coming with you." Chuoba Liufeng frowned, looking above at the unclimbable black hole, and shook his head. "Just how deep is this? We can't fly here either," and ended up having a rough landing. "Yeah, hey Sir Zhu, why didn't you fall?" The sixth prince turned to Zhuo Fan. He took a look around and said, "There's a spatial bind array here that prevents flying. What about you?" The spatial bind array is a 6th grade array. Anything beneath 7th grade can't affect ethereals. Since I formed my soul, the array doesn't work on me. Walking ahead, Zhuo Fan said, "You can't go back and I don't have time to waste undoing the array. You'll just have to come along." "Sure." Cheering inside, the two went right after him. Chuoba Liufeng had no choice but to go as well, frowning. "Zhuo Fan, who do you figure dug this tunnel behind the Imperial Palace?" Zhuo Fan replied, "We'll know when we reach the end. Also, it had to be an ethereal stage expert for sure." "Why so sure?" Chuoba Liufeng asked. Zhuo Fan spoke, looking around. No one would set an array just to tie themselves up. He had placed a 6th grade array, the dividing line between ethereal stage and the rest of the world. With the secular world being made up of people below this line, this showed he did not want them to enter here, only ethereal stage experts. Or maybe only to let his men in. Yeah, Zhuo Fan nodded, his eyes sharp. "In the Quanrong lands, besides mortals, there's also a sect. Beast taming sect," the trio cried, and Zhuo Fan nodded. "Yes, one can assume this path leads to beast taming sect. It won't matter to me if there are heaps of experts, not when they all come from a meager lower 3 sect. As for you three, we'll be fine. With Sir Zhuo here, nothing can touch us." The 6th prince chuckled without an ounce of shame. Zhuo Fan smiled. "Don't be too happy. I can protect myself, but I can't say the same for dead weights." The 6th prince scratched his head and Lionel huffed. "Beast taming sect is watching over the Quanrong Empire. Why would it harm us when we did nothing wrong? They're also a righteous sect that preaches reason. Yeah, if we meet any from the beast taming sect, we'll just say we stumbled upon this tunnel, then make our identities known. They should at least give the commander's children some leeway." Chuoba Liufeng nodded. The 6th prince snickered while Zhuo Fan mocked. "Ignorant, have you stopped to think why this tunnel is so hidden? Be it righteous or demonic path, both sides have things to hide. Once someone barges in, killing is the norm, don't you think?" Shuddering, the Tauba siblings paled. Zhuo Fan made fun of them. Only the 6th prince looked at Zhuo Fan in earnest. "We'll have to trust Sir Zhuo to protect us then. Like I said, I can only protect myself." "I don't think so." The 6th prince cocked an eyebrow. "The way I see it, you can do it but just don't want to. I heard that on your way to Double Dragon Manor, you and those 3 girls from Mystical Heaven sect were ambushed by the Universal Righteous sect, but you chose to perish for their sake, helping them escape like a true hero." Sir Zhuo, as your fan, the least I am is well informed." The other two started, looking at Zhuo Fan in shock. They never thought a guy like Zhuo Fan would be so selfless. Pausing, Zhuo Fan recalled that dreaded day of separation, and regret clouded his eyes, sighing, "It's fake. If I died for them, then who is standing before you now? Anyway, no one can stop Sir Zhuo when he puts his mind to something. If Sir Zhuo wants to save someone, no one can kill them." Ignoring Zhuo Fan's reply, the 6th prince spoke with respect and pride. Zhuo Fan smiled inside and sighed. He wasn't a god. If he was so great, he wouldn't fear the likes of Heavenly Sovereign. He wouldn't have had to leave King Cheng. Zhuo Fan's face looked lonely as he thought. "Og!" Cries came from deeper into the tunnel. Zhuo Fan's group rushed forward, following the sounds. The 4 arrived at the end, and a series of stone doors were presented before them. One door was opened just a crack. Slipping from within was the yellow light of a burning candle. Groans were also coming from within, along with heavy panting. The group approached the door and peeked through the gap. They saw a man and a woman entangled, with yuan qi flowing between them. Lionel was still a pure lady, and witnessing such an explicit event had her blushing. As she staggered in shock, she kicked a rock away. "Who's there?" the man roared, twisting his head their way. Lionel gave an apologetic look to Zhuo Fan for giving them away, but Zhuo Fan did not care. He opened the stone door wider and strutted in. "Brother, are you finished? I have some questions." "You have some nerve. Who the hell are you people? What gives you the right to barge in my training room?" the man roared. The woman he was entangled with laid on the bed and looked with disdain. Zhuo Fan had a thin smile. "Are you from the beast taming sect? Is there some special place here with thick spiritual energy especially fit for cultivating, Where the hell did you come from? Who are you to think about my beast-taming sect's precious training grounds? The man sized the four up, then mocked. You're either crazy or morons. You want to get to it with so few numbers. You must be suicidal, ha ha ha. The man cackled, but Zhuo Fan shook his head. Yeah, I came here to die. Since that's the case, can you tell me where it is before we die? Humph, it'll only be a waste to tell you. The man shouted, and a leopard shot from his body, charging at the four die for barging into beast-taming sect. Bam. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone coldly, and a scarlet dragon claw shot from his body, swatting the oversized cat. The feline was destroyed with that one blow, vanishing into nothing. Shuddering, the man stared at Zhuo Fan in disbelief. Who the hell are you? It'll only be a waste to tell you. Zhuo Fan's evil grin was on full display. Plop, the man slumped dead with eyes wide open. He died still shocked at how a radiant stage cultivator managed to kill him so fast. Ah, the woman on the bed shrieked, seeing the guy dead. Then a shadow flashed and struck the woman. Her eyes rolled back and she slumped dead as well. Looking closer, the attacker was actually the sixth prince. But instead of being his usual overexcited self, he looked on with bloodshot eyes, shaking from the hatred and rage. What's wrong with him? It was the first time anyone saw the sixth prince lose control. The Tauba siblings looked at Zhuo Fan with a questioning gaze. Zhuo Fan eyed him, realizing something. Then he turned around and continued walking deeper into the pitch-black tunnel. Lionel caught up, curious. Zhuo Fan, do you know something we don't? I don't. Then why did the sixth prince strike? To silence her. Go ask him if you want. Zhuo Fan spoke with a cold face. Lionel pouted and stomped. The sixth prince took a deep breath to calm himself, then went after them. His mood never went back to his cheerful self, actually turning graver than Zhuo Fan. Lionel was perplexed and dying to know, but Chuoba Liufeng shook his head. Something was definitely up. Everyone could see it, but it was not like you could just ask about it. Even if they did, he might not reply. So the better option here was to stay silent and not provoke him. Lionel had to stifle her suspicion for now as the group went forward. They soon reached the end of the tunnel, faced with a pitch-black stone wall. Lionel asked, a dead end? Ha ha ha, fool, if it's a dead end, how did that couple get here to enjoy themselves? Besides, with how many rooms there are around, with the guy calling it his training room, it's clear that people come here often to train. Zhuo Fan mocked. Girlie, did you leave you head outside the cave? You must really have no care for your life, ha ha ha. Lionel was fuming mad. Why you? Ignoring her, Zhuo Fan felt the stone wall and grinned. This is a defensive array, just like the one back in Demon Scheming Sect. Without a specific technique of the sect, one just can't get in. What now? We're no beast-taming sect disciples. How could we know the right technique? The sixth prince shouted. Zhuo Fan ignored him. You sound quite sure this is beast-taming sect's land. Didn't you just say the same thing? And also that guy. The sixth prince showed a bright smile. Snickering, Zhuo Fan said, it was just a guess, and that guy said he was from the beast-taming sect, not that this is its land. I guessed it then. The sixth prince blurted. Oh. Then should we go on? The sixth prince looked hard at Zhuo Fan. Lionel found it very odd. Zhuo Fan had been going about looking for something from the start. Why then is he starting to question the sixth prince? Or is it something the sixth prince asked him to find? The sixth prince was the only one who knew Zhuo Fan's intention. So the sixth prince bowed. I'm accompanying Sir Zhuo to look for what Sir is after. It is at Sir's discretion to continue or not. To me it's nothing, while it spells trouble to you. Going back just like that, Hai's brow quivering, the sixth prince pondered then nodded. Everything will go per Sir Zhuo's wishes. As your fan, I can only give you my full support. In that case, Zhuo Fan nodded. The sixth prince stared at the wall with a tense heart. We go on. Zhuo Fan grinned and came to a decision. The sixth prince was beaming with joy. The Tauba siblings were stumped. What's up with them? Is it Zhuo Fan looking for something, or sixth prince? Ignoring their curious gazes, Zhuo Fan's left eye flashed with a black thunderflame. It shot straight at the wall. Apocalyptic thunderflame eye. The minute mote of fire exploded into a roaring flame. The tiny flicker of flame looked small, but it exploded the instant it touched the whole wall, covering it in scorching flames. SSS, the black thunderflame licked the wall, with the lightning crackling over it, jarring the ears of those present. The spectators were afraid of it, getting away from it so it would not jump on them and kill them as well. They had no clue what that thing was to give off such dread. Just looking at it was like staring death in the face. The pitch-black wall burned away to reveal a 3-meter-tall exit. Beyond it was a lush forest, mesmerizing and soothing. The thick spiritual energy hit them head-on. It really is beast-taming sect's land. With an evil smirk, Zhuo Fan led them out, happily looking around this paradise. Figured as much, a whirlwind tunnel can be a paradise or hell, but no matter which, no one from the secular world can have it. Only a sect can truly take it for itself. I should have known the minute I got to Quanrong. The first place to look had to be the beast-taming sect, ha ha ha. Zhuo Fan showed a pleased smile, while the other three were taken in by the glorious sights around them. Bam! A loud sound echoed as two creatures 100 meters tall arrived before them with their claws ready. The trio were startled, paling and crying, 7th grade spiritual beast. And two of them, the beast taming sect, was known in the Western lands for their beast-related skills. All the cultivators in Quanrong also followed a similar path when they trained. They might get to tame the spiritual beast outside, but a 7th grade spiritual beast was beyond them. But in the beast taming sect, two of such creatures appeared, scaring them to death. Only Zhuo Fan, having seen the true king among beasts, disregarded them. A black flame flashed in his eye as Zhuo Fan spoke. Beat it. Shuddering, the two spiritual beasts showed dread in their eyes. Then they blacked out and slumped on the ground. Zhuo Fan's outrageously destructive aura knocked them right out. The others looked at Zhuo Fan agape. They knew Zhuo Fan could scare beasts, but now he could knock them out. Just where the hell did he learn this strange beast art? Zhuo Fan was stunned as well. He only wanted to scare them off, but then they suddenly collapsed. The destructive thunderflame really is beyond the 5 great sacred beast powers, even more effective than the azure flame. He grinned and walked on. He finally felt he was king among beasts. In an ancient and quaint hall, a pale middle-aged man was sitting on a throne. The lines of elders on each side released powerful auras, ethereal stage experts. Looking at the jade slip flashing in his hand, the middle-aged man frowned. The fighting is tense. I thought getting Zai Yu's 1,000 sacred stones was an easy deal, but even with our 50 ethereal elders joining the war against Tianyu, we're still at a standstill. Even worse now that Elder Lane is asking for help. What do you think? One elder shook his head. Sect leader, in the recent years, Tianyu's power has grown beyond anything we've seen. Even without the Empire's 3 guardian sects stepping in, they alone have the strength to not only fight back our 50 ethereal stage experts, but even hold the advantage. Another elder stood and bowed. From what I can tell, for us to win, we have to send more men. Bam. Following the loud noise, a buffed man with black beard shot in rage. Humph, send what? The elders and venerables we sent must be heavily wounded if not dead. Sending any more will only mount our casualties. This is a problem between Tianyu and the 3 guardian sects. Zai Yu wants to waken those traitors and wants to do it through us. Ren Zioan wants to use the weakened Luo clan to control Tianyu as well. That's why he's holding back and watches from afar. But this is Tianyu's problem. What does it have to do with us? Have you forgotten the bitter lesson from 8 years ago? Tianyu is cunning, twisted, and treacherous. Last time they took a large piece of fertile land, cutting our income by half. Are we to do it again? Yeah, that's true. It's best we don't get in other people's business. The other elders nodded. The sect leader crushed the jade slip, hesitating. Was he to send more men or draw them back? He was in a dilemma, trying not to fall for those bastards' plot again. Just then, a sound echoed throughout the sect. Someone broke the sect's defensive array. Sect leader cried out, "Elders and venerables, follow me. Let's see who had the nerve to barge into beast-taming sect." Everyone bowed, "Yes, sir." Sect leader flew out with the elders behind him, leaving an empty and desolate hall in an eerie silence. Stop! Zhuo Fan had entered the beast-taming sect and was letting the flower spirit lead the way again. His entourage was looking around scared and jittery, but when they saw Zhuo Fan's laid-back attitude, they sighed. "Dude, we're sneaking into another's home, practically like thieves. Can't you act like one? Strolling around like this in their own backyard would get unneeded attention. The only reason we're sticking around is because a 7th grade spiritual beast can pop up anytime. But you're too damn conspicuous. It's like you're asking to be found." The team barely took a few steps before 2 disciples blocked their path. "You arrogant bastards, how dare you barge into beast-taming sect? Who the hell are you?" The trio ducked behind their guard. Zhuo Fan glanced over the 2. "You don't know already? Why the useless questions?" "How are we to know?" the 2 started. Pointing at his face, Zhuo Fan declared, "Didn't you call me arrogant bastard? Well, there you have it." PFF, Lionel giggled. The 2 disciples roared, "You're toying with us." One disciple charged towards Zhuo Fan at full power. Zhuo Fan didn't spare him a look, merely punching the air. Bam! The disciple went out in a puff of blood, gone from this world. The other disciple panicked, now realizing the enemy was in the 8th layer radiant stage, while the 2 of them were just in the 4th. He did not flee, however, raising his hand. A flaming eagle 2 meters large cried as it made itself known. 6th level spiritual beast, scorching eagle, Lionel cried out. Laughing, the disciple looked smug. Yes, a 6th level spiritual beast, ha ha ha. You'd never guess that disciples from the beast-taming sect aren't just cultivating themselves, but paired with spirit animals to display their true power. You may be in the 8th layer, but against a 6th level spiritual beast. Shrieked the eagle, cried in fear, knocked out cold. Across from it, Zhuo Fan's left eye flashed with black thunderflame. The disciple was dumbstruck, his mind numb as he watched his dear spirit animal. What just happened? A punch came while he was still perplexed, turning him into another bloody mist to feed the grass. Zhuo Fan looked at the flower spirit in his hand. Which way? Jerking, the spirit looked scared as well, pointing out the right direction. Zhuo Fan strutted onwards. The Taoba siblings were speechless. They thought Zhuo Fan had the nerve only out there, but he was on a rampage even in a sect. Only the sixth prince was overjoyed, beaming at Zhuo Fan's attitude. It went to show Zhuo Fan had the power to cleave through the beast-taming sect. That's my idol, so awesome, hee. Grinning, the prince walked after him, leaving the Taoba siblings to sigh as they dragged their feet. Since we're in this as well, might as well see it through. Zhuo Fan and co strolled further in, head high, chest out, right in the middle of the beast-taming sect's home. Many disciples came to visit them, but were destined to be reduced to nothing from Zhuo Fan's bloody welcome. Even as more and more kept coming, Zhuo Fan had no trouble. It led to an odd feeling of safety for Lioner, despite the brutality surrounding the trio. Chuoba Liu Feng, the young commander who had gone through many wars, noticed that despite the danger, it was also followed closely by calmness. This was a mood Zhuo Fan made. As long as he led the way, they were unaffected whatsoever. He now understood why the Luo clan relied so much on Zhuo Fan. It can't be that the Luo clan also felt like they were on vacation fighting us in that war 8 years ago, right? That would be so embarrassing, though there's a high chance it was true. Sighing, Chuoba Liu Feng watched the straight back in front. He's deadly to enemies and dependable to his allies. I'd rather be his ally, though. Boom, the rumbling never stopped as beast-taming sect disciples kept coming in waves. But the tide was soon followed by stillness as each crumbled to nothing from Zhuo Fan's punches. It didn't take long for the death count to go up to the thousands. The following disciples now felt fear, staring as Zhuo Fan's team walked on while they shook back from his path. Wush beast-taming sect leader, elders and venerables finally arrived. Seeing their disciples in fear, they roared, "What are you doing? Attack, get those thieves." Sect leader, the guy is a monster, we can't do anything to him. He already killed thousands of our brothers and none of them even touched him. It will only end up with all of us dying for nothing. A disciple bowed, reporting his plight. The other disciples nodded. The sect leader looked around at the field of corpses, then at Zhuo Fan, 2nd layer, 5th layer, and 8th layer radiant stage. Then there's a profound heaven cultivator too. You mean to tell me this was all done by those 4? No, sect leader, just him. The rest were hiding behind him. The disciple pointed at Zhuo Fan in fear. The sect leader frowned, more shocked than ever. Just one man slaughtered my disciples. How, what about your spiritual beasts? You couldn't do it even when working together? It was better if he hadn't asked. The disciples looked crushed, almost crying. Sect leader, we don't know why, but our spiritual beasts just refused to come out. They'd rather stay in their rings than fight that guy. They seem afraid. Seriously? The sect leader was stunned, then sized Zhu up. He turned to his elders. Take out your spirit animals. See if there's any problem. Ha ha ha, sect leader, my spirit animal has been with me for decades and always answers. It's not like those newly tamed beasts the disciples have. The disciples' methods must be lacking. In times like these, it is up to us, their elders, to show them how it's done. Yeah, our sect is expert in rearing spiritual beasts, but I see the new generation don't train too hard anymore, making our sect look bad. It seems we'll have to set these twerps straight, ha ha ha. The oldies were so smug even before their pets came out. The disciples were silent, not like they could complain. Sect leader was annoyed. Getting the enemy is more important. Elders, the one to capture this kid will definitely be remembered. He, no worries, sect leader. My 7th grade spiritual beast, Flaming Cloud Tiger, will take him down. He's just a radiant stage cultivator. One elder mocked as he shouted, Flaming Cloud Tiger, come out. No response. The people watched his valiant pose, yet there was no pet to answer his call to duty. Face twitching hard, everyone sighed. Of course it won't come. Some disciples even snickered. Getting flustered, the elder looked embarrassed while the sect leader frowned. What's going on here? Has beast-taming sect's main power just died out? That means this group is specifically here to target us. They even prepared countermeasures, though he still did not know the reason behind it. Ha ha ha, old coot, did your boast go bust at last? Seeing him standing there with no trusty spiritual beast in sight, another elder just had to make use of this perfect chance to mock him. Talk about handling the kid when you can't even handle your pet. It seems to me we ought to start straightening you up first. Why you? The elder glared at the speaker. But that man stuck out his chin. So you have had your spirit animal with you for decades. Well, I have had one for a century. 7th grade spiritual beast, Ice Cap Leopard. We've worked together for so long it's practically human. Allow me to show you how it's truly done. This is how you work with a spirit animal. With a smug grin, the old guy flicked his wrist and pointed his ring at Zhuo Fan. Ice cap leopard, bite his head off. The ring clearly showed a reaction, then it died out. Awkward, the old man froze in his grand pose, though there was not a hair of his pet around to complete his act. The first elder who made a fool of himself just had to be petty and laugh at his misfortune. He, old fool, weren't you just mocking me? Look at you and your century-old relic, it still left you high and dry. The victim here had his eyes turned bloodshot and glared in silence. Sect leader was becoming agitated, speaking to the rest, you all try as well, see what happens. Everyone summoned their faithful beasts, just that all their beasts chose this particular moment to ignore the summons. All the elders kept flicking their rings around in hope their pets would come out at some point. Much good did that do. Not a single creature answered the owner's call of duty, choosing the safety of the ring instead. Everyone cried out in disbelief. Using spiritual beasts to fight was beast taming sect's specialty. The name said it all. Not using their spiritual beasts was like cutting their arms, reducing their power by half. Such an event was a complete disaster for this sect. Sect leader, an elder, panicked. Sect leader raised his hand to stop him, roaring at Zhuo Fan, boy, did you do something? What's going on here? You better talk sense or, ha, it couldn't be simpler. With an evil smirk, the black thunderflame ignited in Zhuo Fan's left eye. You're standing before the king among beasts. No spiritual beast dares to face me under the fear of death. Is that clear enough for you? All the people shuddered. King among beasts. The spiritual beasts were divided into grades, though there weren't many called kings. Be that as it may, none of them could instill such fear into a spiritual beast as to make it cower in its ring. That went double for a spirit animal that had been trained for years among people. It would hardly ever cower against another spiritual beast's threatening aura, to say nothing of not coming out at all. Also, he's not human to call himself a king among beasts. How were they to know Zhuo Fan's abominable thunderflame was made up of 4 sacred beast powers combined? It was simply specifically made to target spiritual beasts. The coming of the thunderflame spelled certain doom, so any spiritual beast with self-preservation instincts chose to stay away. Boy, take your lies elsewhere. King among beasts, as if. Sect leader stared at Zhuo Fan. Talk, who are you and why have you barged into my sect? What deviant trick are you using on our spirit animals to lose our control? Cocking his head, Zhuo Fan snickered. You want to know the secret? Well, too bad, it's mine and I'm not telling. As for who I am, Zhuo Fan glanced at the 6th prince behind, who knew when to keep silent and fade into the background. Chuckling, Zhuo Fan turned to sect leader. I'm not telling you, though there's no harm in informing you of my reason. I heard you have some paradise here and plan on borrowing it for a couple of days. Borrow. Are you having a death wish coming before a full moon? Full moon, Zhuo Fan pondered. The sect leader mocked, ha, so you only know that we have a special area but not its details. Not that it matters, since I never planned on lending you anything. For charging into my sect, you shall never leave this place alive. My, how confident, Zhuo Fan taunted. Sect leader's smile turned savage. And you're overconfident, boy. You might have countered our beasts, but don't think for a second my sect is defenseless without them. We have over 200 ethereal stage experts here. 200. Not bad for a lower 3 sect, though doable. Zhuo Fan grinned. What else did you want me to say, sect leader? You just gave me an assurance, ha. I twitching, the sect leader snapped, curses, boy. You're just a radiant stage cultivator, yet you mock us so. Elders, bring him to me alive. I will make him regret the day he was born. I'll make him pay the price for disregarding the beast-taming sect. Yes, sir, an elder bowed and charged at Zhuo Fan. A flash of gold revealed a 100-meter-tall golden tiger coming at Zhuo Fan with its maw open. Ha, any radiant stage cultivator is useless against an ethereal stage expert. I can handle you even without a pet. Whoosh, a huge dragon claw came out from Zhuo Fan's back in a flash of scarlet, grabbing the oversized feline. The cocky elder halted in his tracks from shock. That, my soul, grinning, Zhuo Fan said, yes, a radiant stage cultivator is futile going against an ethereal stage expert, a shame that doesn't apply to me. With a crumbling sound, the dragon claw crunched the golden dragon to dust. The elder looked on in fear, dying with a horrified expression. Everyone else gasped in shock. He has a soul, a really strong one at that. He can kill an expert soul in an instant. No average soul can do that. Who the hell is he? Sect leader stared at Zhuo Fan with wide eyes, his lip quivering. Who are you? Used to be a guest, but now, Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed. With a mighty roar, the almighty Scarlet Dragon King came out in all its glory, releasing its entire aura. Ha, now I'm your doom. Heaven Dragon Soul, why your demon scheming sex Zhuo Fan? Sect leader cried out, making the others shudder and falter. They were lost and wary. Didn't the demon scheming sect tell them that after Zhuo Fan betrayed the sect, the universal righteous sect helped them by destroying him? Why was the dead star of Double Dragon gathering? the new and brief best disciple of Western lands barging into beast-taming sect. None here could figure out why, not even sect leader. Though one thing was certain, this was no social visit. Squinting, sect leader took a deep breath to calm himself. Zhuo Fan, I haven't yet gotten around to paying you for destroying my team of disciples at the Double Dragon Gathering. Now I see you came here of your own free will. Humph, the universal righteous sect didn't take your life, actually giving this chance to the beast-taming sect. This is Providence, helping us take revenge and bring rest to the spirits of our late disciples. Yeah, a superior 3 sect couldn't kill me, so what could a puny lower 3 sect possibly do to threaten me? Zhuo Fan mocked. Sect leader's brow twitched. Zhuo Fan, enough of your arrogance. Who knows how you escaped the universal righteous sect's pursuit, but now in beast-taming sect's home, there are 200 ethereal stage experts surrounding you. You're finished, ha ha ha, my words exactly, just 200. Shut up, what only are you mocking the beast-taming sect? Humph, I'll show you the true might of our sect. Glaring at him, sect leader shouted as he gave the order, attack. Kill him? Yes, sir. With mighty roars, the elders charged. The 200-plus ethereal stage experts' auras slammed into Zhuo Fan, stilling his breath. Lioner panicked inside. Zhuo Fan could handle one, but 200. Zhuo Fan had a constant sneer on his face, charging as well and clashing with the enemy. The elders were stunned, just as something black flashed, and Zhuo Fan was now wielding a black longsword as it was brought down on them. Whoosh, the pitch-black edge flashed like lightning in their vision. The elders had no time to react as it mowed through 8 of them, spilling guts and blood into the air. Not even their souls escaped, destroyed along with their bodies from the black blade. The beast-taming sect in its entirety was shell-shocked, and the wave of elders stood there overwhelmed. Zhuo Fan and his blade was all that was reflected in their eyes. Ha ha ha, told you so, just 200 ethereal stage experts. A lower 3 sect can only get so strong without a soul harmony expert around. Snickering, Zhuo Fan taunted the sect leader. Beast-taming sect's leader, tell me I'm wrong. Sect leader's face twitched as he stared at Zhuo Fan's smug look. That blatant disregard was getting to him so much, he felt his blood rising. But more than that, he was simply overcome with shock from having 8 ethereal stage experts killed like that, something no average ethereal stage expert could do. Is he even a disciple? They knew that the superior 3 sect's disciples, especially the core ones, were much stronger than the lower 3 sect's venerables and elders. The problem with Zhuo Fan wasn't one of power, but being on another level entirely. Killing ethereal stage experts so easily was not something anyone could do, but he, sect leader's eyes trembled as sweat trickled down his brow. Freak, sect leader, he came first in the Double Dragon Gathering. He's no pushover, shouldn't we just settle it peacefully? One elder tried as he neared sect leader. We know his goal and it JSN't so hard to accommodate. Let's just… Bullshit, sect leader snapped in rage. And what about the name of beast-taming sect? What will become of us once word gets out a mere traitorous disciple of demon-scheming sect ran amok within our own home? But enough, sect leader waved him off. He's one man. How strong can he be anyway? Everyone, release your souls. We're going to stall him until he breaks. They all cupped their fists and bowed at his order. Yes, sect leader. The sky reverberated from all the roars that followed as all kinds of beast souls littered the heavens, with Zhuo Fan's team in the middle. Lioner felt like she was in the middle of a horde. The power these souls gave out crushing her chest, their eyes filled with the desire to swallow them whole. Only Zhuo Fan was laid back. Top profound rank combination art, Song of Paradise. 2 elders led the charge, making signs as they made their souls go for Zhuo Fan. The 2 large beast souls were 100 meters tall. One was covered in green flames, the other had a crimson glow. The 2 birds revolved around each other until they became a red and green fire tornado. This was a combination attack, not the kind those random attacks from before could compare with. Even Zhuo Fan frowned, holding the sword tighter in his grip. Venerables Hu Yan and Jia Huer's combined art. A person cried out, filled with hope. The 2 venerables are in the 6th layer and they're always so close to each other, like one person. This combined attack is as strong as 10 6th layer ethereal stage experts. No matter how strong he is, he can't block such a flawless attack, and approval came from the crowd. Sect leader was grinning now. Zhuo Fan only got to kill 8 in the first attack because his men went at him without coordination, far weaker than what these 2 venerables were doing. The boy will be heavily wounded, and then, humph, squinting, sect leader grinned just as the fire tornado exploded on contact with Zhuo Fan. The sky took on a red hue, making everyone gasp at the sheer might of the shockwave. Lioner was the closest and could feel the scorching heat suck all the moisture out of the air, shaking her heart. How would Zhuo Fan fare against such an attack? 6th Prince's brow shook, staring intently at the aftermath while his heart thumped hard in his chest. Rumble, the fierce flames reached high into the sky. There were two distinct shapes of birds spinning around in the inferno, acting like a large furnace to refine Zhuo Fan alive. The two venerables' signs changed. Sect leader, we have the boy trapped. He will be burned to ashes in a few minutes. It's best if Sir lets the elders go back. It's not worth wasting time on a disciple, ha ha ha. Venerables are amazing. I won't ever forget what you did today. Sect leader smiled. The two smiled. It's nothing, it's The two shook and slumped dead. Venerables, what's wrong? Sect leader shouted in fright. A shockwave was his only answer as the fireball was split in two perfect halves. The two bird souls fell from the fire, also cut in two like the flames. They faded away slowly, returning to the skies. Zhuo Fan held his sword as he walked out with a smile. Not bad at all, even the souls were good. A shame nothing works when faced against me, ha ha ha. Startled, everyone turned to Zhuo Fan. The two venerables were among the best beast-taming sect had to offer, yet. Zhuo Fan, you've gone too far, sect leader shouted, pointing at him. Attack, use wave tactics and kill him. Roar, the people shouted as they settled on attacking as a whole. The sky was filled with souls, drawing closer and tightening like a net, all to take Zhuo Fan down. Even he would have to have a hard time fighting so many at once. A gap might form in his defense that would let someone strike a heavy blow. It was common knowledge that there was strength in numbers. Zhuo Fan might have been tense before, but not this time around. With a sign, a draconic roar echoed and the still almighty Scarlet Dragon King shifted. Golden flames lit up all over it, and it turned the Heaven Dragon Soul into its strongest variant, decimating Golden Heaven Dragon King. Receiving the decimating golden flame, Zhuo Fan now knew how to turn the Heaven Dragon Soul into its fifth form. This form exploded in power. As the horde of souls were getting closer, the golden dragon roared and released a torrent of golden flames from its wide maw. Half the sky took a golden hue from the flames' brilliant display, as if there was a wall in place. Some overexcited souls had no time to stop and went right into the golden flames. Their bodies shook and wailed as their weak souls were burned to nothing. The rest were shocked and made their souls stop the attack. More than 100 souls were now watching the huge golden flames. On the other side, Zhuo Fan grinned and attacked with the demonic sword. In a flash of golden flames, Zhuo Fan appeared in the middle of those souls, relishing in the slaughter as he reaped souls with every slash and hack. The souls wanted to attack, but moments later, he broke the encirclement again. When they wanted to chase, the golden dragon blocked them with its fire breath. The man and dragon worked in perfect harmony to cull the opposition. The decimating golden flame was a fierce and brutal flame. Zhuo Fan had his body remade by the dragon ancestor, and his speed had grown as well. All the others could catch was his shadow as he darted around, having harvested dozens of poor souls already. And every time some got close to surround him, the golden dragon would spew flames. Zhuo Fan and the dragon soul worked to chip away at their numbers, one soul at a time, while they could do nothing. More than 100 experts watched helplessly as Zhuo Fan's death toll reached 50. They were dumbstruck at how this man worked so well with his soul to toy around the 200 enemies. While the previous two venerables were experts in a combined art, Zhuo Fan and the dragon were relying on tactics, taking care to plug every weakness while taking the enemy down. Looking from another angle, the 200 people's pointless efforts at catching one guy only to end up losing instead had the disciples of beast-taming sect in despair and regret. Even the sect leader looked to be crying. This had got to be fate, using heavy numbers against one guy only to be suffering in the end. The skies were filled with the cries of those dying. Zhuo Fan wielded the demonic sword like a certified reaper, taking life after life in his hunt for beast-taming sect ethereal stage experts, all while the enemy was panicking. Every time the enemy even tried mounting a counterattack, the golden dragon would step in with its fire breath. It was akin to David and Goliath, with the exception here being that the giant had its arms and legs stuck, letting the tiny guy peel away. The sect had all that power, yet it was unable to put it to use. How were they supposed to know he had a crowd control skill? They all looked helpless, while Zhuo Fan was bouncing around the battlefield for more lives to take. The golden flame wall was just too tough to crack. Sect leader, we've got heavy casualties. It has only been half an hour and yet 100 ethereal stage experts are dead. We can't keep doing this or we'll all die, an elder reported in panic, pleading all the while. Sect leader gnashed his teeth. Why can't all the power beast-taming sect employed deal with just one damn brat? Sect leader, he's just that strong, with hardly anyone his match. Also, a venerable bode, our power is based on our beasts. The sect might have fewer experts, but by working with our spirit animal, we double our power, no less stronger than the demon scheming sect. But in this current situation, our spirit animals are rendered useless by the enemy's devious tricks. They are scared to death and won't come out. This is the real reason why we can't do anything. So, sect leader looked at him. What are you trying to say? Sect leader, in this situation, we can't use all our potential. Stepping down won't be a disgrace. Our image will stand. Bullshit, sect leader cursed. You're saying it's fine for brats to barge into a great sect. Spirit animals aside, we have more than 200 experts here, yet we still failed. No matter how you look at it, the rumors will be anything but pretty. The man jerked but still muttered, Sect leader, what then? Does Sir want to lose everyone? As the wailing continued in the background and the stage took a more and more pronounced red hue as body parts were flung away, sect leader took a deep breath with a tightened frown. What do I do? Give up and let some brat conquer a sect? Will become the laughingstock of Western lands. Sect leader. As he was stuck in a conundrum, another shout came and the newcomer's eyes flashed. Isn't the crescent pool in the abyssal swamp? As long as we trap him inside, no matter how strong he is, he'll end up as bleached bones. Let's draw him there then. Sect leader's eyes lit up. He nodded and grinned. Ha ha ha, great. Didn't he want to go to our Eden? Then let him become its fertilizer, though we will need a proper bait for a monster like him. Eyes flashing, sect leader glanced over. Zhuo Fan was still having a field day, killing all over the place. Just 1,000 meters behind him, 3 weaklings stood. Frowning, sect leader said, I found our bait. Since they came with the kid, they must be connected. But which among them is the most effective? Sect leader, why not get all 3? 3. Yes, the man whispered in sect leader's ear, to which he nodded and grinned. We'll do just as you said. The man bowed and went to work. In the meantime, Zhuo Fan's kill count only grew, the situation developing completely opposite of when he faced the universal righteous sect. He was relaxed and fast, with the ethereal stage experts unable to surround him. Adding to that was the strongest soul's help, decimating Golden Heaven Dragon King. He had been fighting for so long, yet not one attack reached him. The slaughter was completely one-sided. Scared by this development, the other side's mounting casualties forced them to withdraw, making the battle shift further away as Zhuo Fan and his dragon soul were chasing them. Sixth Prince and the Tauba siblings ducked in a forest looking at the chaos. That's my idol beating beast taming sect by himself. What do you guys think? Will Sir Zhuo kill them all with his nasty temper? It's more than likely. Chuoba Liufeng paused then nodded. I used to think he was a strong and shrewd marshal, but his strength is beyond anything I've seen, and it's only been 8 short years. If he returns to Tianyu, then I swear to never battle Tianyu in this life. The sixth prince nodded, all excited. Only Lioner's mind was elsewhere as her cheeks turned rosy. Whoosh. 3 white-haired elders appeared behind them just then, grabbing them by the throat. Og, you, sixth prince cried out, only to be choked as the elder covered his mouth. Even with Zhuo Fan so far away, he was still aware enough for the cry to reach his ears. Zhuo Fan shook and stopped his chase. Turning around, he saw 3 panicking looks in the elders' panicked faces. He spotted us. Run, the elders turned away with their hostages. Sect leader shouted and the men surrounding Zhuo Fan scattered. Baiting, Zhuo Fan frowned and called the dragon's soul back to him. He now understood why they were falling back while he pushed on. It was all to distance him from the trio and capture them. Though they miscalculated, do they really think I care? While the trio were getting further and further away, sect leader was gloating. Zhuo Fan, if you want them alive, follow me. Sect leader left. But I don't, Zhuo Fan saw nobody around him for miles and scratched his head. There was no point in doing that. They came here by themselves. It has nothing to do with me. I haven't the slightest inclination to fall for your trap for them. Zhuo Fan pondered, then came to a decision. Their business, their problems. Knock yourselves out. Zhuo Fan ignored everything and looked at the flower spirit. Point the way to your birthplace. Afraid of Zhuo Fan, the spirit pointed to Zhuo Fan's right, where all people fled. Zhuo Fan went that way too, but only because the paths intersected. Whoosh, half an hour later, in a place filled with flowers, a stone platform a meter wide with 3 pillars lay in the center, a thing of beauty. Sect leader landed first on the platform, while the rest appeared just shy of the field of flowers. Did those elders come back? Sect leader shouted. Everyone shook their heads. Sighing, sect leader asked, what of Zhuo Fan is he chasing? Another round of shaking heads. That puzzled him greatly. Doesn't he want to save those 3? It can't be. They came here together, so they have to be close. Just then 3 people and the elders returned. Sect leader lit up. Tie them to the pillars, hurry, we'll be trapping him soon. Yes, sir. The elders laughed and did as ordered. He, the punk's done for. One elder snickered while tying his hostage. Sixth prince glared and kicked his stomach. A bunch of shameless old rats dare to trick Sir Zhuo. Bam. The kicked elder was caught off guard and the kick folded him, right as he fell in the field of flowers. Everyone panicked, look out. The elder that fell in the field of flowers froze in place. But even so, his joy was long gone, now replaced by an ashen face. He then slowly floated while watching the flowers beneath him with a sweaty brow and fearful eyes. The others sighed in relief seeing him come out. "Goddamn brat, you almost killed me." The elder that almost fell slapped the sixth prince hard in anger. Bleeding from the mouth, the sixth prince glared in defiance and hatred. For some odd reason, the elder felt a deep-seated hatred coming from the sixth prince, so much so he wanted to end the brat then and there. He realized the primal fury in the boy's eyes could not be overcome. So it was better to get rid of him now just to be on the safe side, but he held himself back. He couldn't just kill his hostage, that wouldn't do. Sect leader pondered, cover their mouths before they let something slip and ruin everything. Yes, sect leader, the elder eyed the sixth prince and tapped his neck. The prince still glared in hatred. The other two were dealt with as well. Sect leader eased up, then told someone to scout. Moments later, he returned. Sect leader He's coming. He took the bait at last, ha ha ha. Sect leader flicked his hand. Hide, don't let him find you. The men scattered, though extremely careful to not get too close to the field of flowers. The hostages shared a glance, knowing this was a trap for Zhuo Fan. They were still thinking the best way to let Zhuo Fan know when the guy was already here, just across from the field of flowers. Squinting, sect leader snickered on the platform as he pointed at his hostages. "Zhuo Fan, did you finally come to save them?" "Nope. Since you do." Sect leader thought it'd be an obvious yes and took a long time for his brain to process the refusal. He cried out, what do you mean nope?" The anxious hostages were looking stumped at Zhuo Fan. "Bro Zhuo, maybe you blurted that out without thinking. Why don't you try that answer again?" Sect leader tensed. Zhuo Fan, there's no rush to reply. "They're your closest friends." "Says who?" Sect leader continued, perplexed. "Or at least friends." "Says who?" Zhuo Fan scratched his head, not giving a damn as usual. Sect leader's face twitched as he shouted, "Then what are you anyway? You definitely can't be strangers since you want to save them. There's practically nothing between us, actually. I've only seen two of them a couple of times, while the third I've only known him for a day." Zhuo Fan looked stone cold at sect leader. "Did you really think there was something going on? They followed me in here for their own reasons. We're nothing more than strangers on the same road." Twitching, sect leader was fuming mad. "Then why are you here if not to save them?" "Saving them never even crossed my mind." Zhuo Fan shook his head, holding out the flower spirit. "Didn't I tell you I'm looking for your cultivation paradise? I have a flower spirit here that came from there. I'm just following its directions, so you can kidnap them without a worry from me. I won't bother you." PFF, sect leader almost spurted blood. He didn't give a damn about the hostages, making their painstaking efforts go up in smoke. The guy only came to their precious area to set up a drawing array. What was the point of using fancy tricks anyway? Sect leader facepalmed. The hostages were even more shocked. Now they knew they were nothing to Zhuo Fan, not worth even a save. The trio were crushed. "How can you be so cold? We journeyed together." Zhuo Fan looked around then at sect leader. "This must be the place I was searching for. You must have laid an ambush as well, I bet. So to make sure nothing disturbs my concentration later, it's best to remove all the variables." Zhuo Fan's eyes turned cold and shot for sect leader. "Wait, don't you care if they die?" "I have hostages here," sect leader cried out. Snickering, Zhuo Fan continued, "Are you deaf? You call those hostages?" Whoosh, in a pitch-black glow, Zhuo Fan's hand was now holding the demonic sword and slashed. Sect leader panicked as he dodged. Whoosh, the pitch-black blade went through the stone platform and the three pillars broke. The hostages cried out in shock, but their covered mouths blocked the sounds. Then the pillars knocked into each other and suddenly stopped. The trio eased a breath. Just witnessing an ethereal stage expert showing such fear to those flowers made them realize it was best to avoid it too. This act of Zhuo Fan confirmed that he didn't give a damn about their lives. Sect leader was regretting it now. The bait was useless. A golden glow came from Zhuo Fan's feet and his speed spiked. Sect leader shook in fear and released his soul, a red and blue shell. It was 10 meters wide, just like a shield as it blocked Zhuo Fan. "Gemini shell?" Zhuo Fan squinted and slashed and cut the shell in two. But as it split, the shell turned into vanishing lights. "That's quite a rare beast soul." Zhuo Fan looked below to see sect leader fleeing with all he had. Grinning, Zhuo Fan shot after him. "Ha ha ha, Gemini shell is a rare illusory beast soul. I wonder just how you managed to form it in this lonely mountain range. They say that each time this soul appears, one is false while the other is real. The real one won't appear until the fake one is destroyed. It can be a sort of barrier that helps attack and hide, but to make the fake part, a huge amount of yuan qi is needed. I wonder how long you'll last, humph. Shit. The Gemini shell never appeared in Western lands, so how the hell do you know it better than I do?" Sect leader cursed. Zhuo Fan snickered. "I've been around. Mountain destroyer." Zhuo Fan flashed in front of sect leader and slashed. Sect leader shook and released a shell to defend, while he himself vanished behind it. Smirking, Zhuo Fan hacked and the shell was no more. But this time, he let the blade slash all the way into the field of flowers. Zhuo Fan shook and cried out. Was this their trap? He felt the sword was stuck in a quagmire. There was a pop behind him and a violent kick shoved him further in, completely into the field of flowers, PFF. The flowers moved like waves on a sea. Zhuo Fan struggled to get out, but something black was holding him and dragging him deeper. He wanted to fly, but nothing he did worked. Above him, beast taming sect's sect leader cackled like mad. Ha ha ha, you dumb brat, got you now. Hee hee, didn't you want to see our Eden? This is it. Any that enters the abyssal swamp, regardless of their power, can't come out. You may be the bloody first in double dragon gathering, killing so many of my elders, but now you're finished. Zhuo Fan frowned, his face stern as he looked below. Bubbles of air floated above while Zhuo Fan sank. He found himself surrounded by them, all going towards the surface. His clothing was dissolving under his eyes, as if he was in some kind of vat of acid. With the swamp being caustic now, I'll be next if it keeps dragging me down. Zhuo Fan finally turned serious, struggling to get out of this stuff. The swamp wasn't just caustic, but extremely invasive. The minute he touched the swamp, it stuck to him like glue. To make matters worse, the sludge seeped into his skin and went through his meridians to seal his yuan qi. All his struggle was in vain, as he just flopped about and sunk further in. Sect leader cackled smug, ha ha ha, damn brat, keep your schemes to yourself. There has never been anyone who managed to escape the swamp, so be good and let it take you to the bottom and push up daisies from hereafter. The hostages saw Zhuo Fan struggling and panicked. All their cries were muffled by the covers and couldn't reach him. Do you really think some swamp can hold me? Half already in the quagmire, Zhuo Fan snickered. Sect leader of the beast taming sect, don't lump me in with those fools that end up dead because of your plans. You are nothing, a ripple echoed out as he finished. Sect leader shook and looked tensely at Zhuo Fan. One thing was certain, what kind of normal radiant stage cultivator could surpass an ethereal stage expert? He was very wary of Zhuo Fan's power, going as far as overestimate it than look down on it. No matter how confident he was in that swamp, he was still nervous if it could hold someone like Zhuo Fan. He stared at Zhuo Fan with a frown, ready to act if needed be. He would make sure to kick him and stop any attempt at escaping. The minute the freak got out, his sect was doomed. Sect leader's hands were sweaty. Divine Eye of the Void's first stage shift. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone golden as he snickered. The sludge blocked his yuan qi, but Divine Eye of the Void used the soul to work. He just had to swap places and he'd be okay. Space warped around Zhuo Fan, making sect leader even more tense, not knowing what he had planned but ready to strike at a moment's notice. Bam, and that was it. The ripple formed but popped in the end, without even taking Zhuo Fan with it. Zhuo Fan's pride in Divine Eye of the Void was crushed. This can't be, Zhuo Fan cried out in utter shock. Looking inside his mind, he saw the sludge seeping in there as well. Even the heaven dragon soul couldn't shake that thing off no matter how it flayed around. His soul was sealed as well now. Zhuo Fan was stumped, looking at the pitch-black sludge around him with utter confusion. What is this thing? There's no way the mortal domain can have something this weird. Maybe, Zhuo Fan recalled dragon ancestors' words. Whirlwind tunnel connected the sacred domain, so maybe something slipped through from the sacred domain. Frowning, Zhuo Fan lamented. What a blunder, and it's all because the beast taming sect is a lower 3 sect. I never dreamed it possible for their secret domain to be so different from ultimate clarity sects. Ultimate clarity sect's realm was paradise for cultivators, while he was now here sinking into hell. Both of these spaces were all at the level of sacred domain. That meant that even a saint would be having a hard time with this sludge. Zhuo Fan lamented and shook his head while the earth took him. Sect leader laughed at this surprise. Ha ha ha, rotten punk, you're nothing but a show-off. Where's your cockiness now? You almost scared me for a second there. I really thought you could get away, but you're just running your mouth. You're still just a mortal in the end. How can you escape my sect's abyssal swamp? Zhuo Fan fell silent as he sank further in until his head was covered as well. All that remained were bubbles popping, the only sign Zhuo Fan was there beneath the surface. Lioner shouted all this time, even as no sound reached him. The three had fought against their bonds with all their might to no avail. The bubbles thinned and soon stopped. The brat is a goner now, ha ha ha. Sect leader saw the swamp stilled and grinned. Everyone, I killed that punk, come back. Whoosh, people came from all directions, the elders of beast taming sect. Seeing their calamity, Zhuo Fan had been swallowed by the mire. They were overjoyed and flattered sect leader. Sect leader is the greatest. His plans are flawless, ha ha ha. Sect leader, since we killed demon scheming sect's greatest traitor, shouldn't it pay for our efforts? Yeah, sect leader. For dealing with demon scheming sect's problems, we should get 1,000 more sacred stones. We've suffered too many losses. Of the 200 ethereal stage experts, we only have half left. Everyone reacted, yes, that's right. Yes, that's how it should be. My sect's losses will be compensated by demon scheming sect. Sect leader nodded. But first, full moon is almost upon us in 3 days. It's the time for our sect's monthly crescent pool baptism. You all know that the day when the moon is brightest, this will turn into the clearest pond with thick spiritual energy. Training inside will make it far more effective than outside. We can't miss it once. That is why the talks with demon scheming sect shall be put on hold for 3 days. They all cupped their hands. Yes, sect leader. Sect leader, what about those 3 brats? One elder pointed at the pillars. Sect leader eyed the mournful trio and snickered. Take them for now and look into them. We'll deal with them afterwards. Yes, sect leader, the elder bowed and left with the hostages. Everyone left, leaving sect leader all alone. He looked at the still quagmire one last time with a smile. Zhuo Fan, no matter how tough you are, even after escaping universal righteous sect, you actually fell here in the beast taming sect, ha ha ha. Sect leader was gone as well. He left just as the still quagmire began to bubble up stronger and stronger. Demon transformation art. Deep below, at the very bottom, surrounded as he was by the thick sludge, Zhuo Fan opened his eyes. Black energy came out of his body and had the sludge spun around like a tornado as he sucked it in. Inside his mind, even as black from the sludge as it was, began to act as well. The heaven dragon's soul shook and turned into the heaven-devouring demonic dragon king. With a roar, it gathered all the sludge around it and made it vanish in the black energy. Zhuo Fan and the dragon's soul worked together to suck the swamp dry, acting like a bottomless hole. Demon transformation art could convert anything in the world. Let's see which is stronger, the swamp's corrosiveness or this demon emperor's demonic art. Humph, grinning, Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed. As the sun set on the 3rd day, the cover of night swallowed the last traces of twilight as it heralded the moon's brightest peak. Beast taming sect's higher-ups returned to the edges of Crescent Pool. Sect leader stood on the stone platform, awaiting the night to settle in with a smile. Elders and venerables will soon be able to enjoy the purifying water, but first we shall address the 3 brats that invaded our sect 3 days ago. Sect leader looked at his people as he spoke, settling in on one elder. The elder waved and 2 disciples brought the 3 hostages forward. The 6th prince looked around with malice. Lioner and her brother looked afraid. Chuoba Liufeng was deeply regretting coming here. He should have just taken his sister and left. Now that they were in the beast taming sect, they were done for. Grinning, sect leader spoke. Who are you? Where do you come from? The trio was silent. Ha ha ha, keep your silence then. I already had you investigated anyway. Sect leader turned to his elders. From Elder Chai's investigation, they have entered via the secret tunnel by breaking its array. What? Everyone looked stunned, then their faces fell. Pa. One elder stomped, his eyes filled with bloodthirst. That means Quanrong knew about that tunnel. That inept ruler knows what we've done in his lands through the years. I wager it's sooner than that, just that he was faking it. But now that cover is blown, ha ha ha. Sect leader smiled. Not only Quanrong's humiliation will come to light, but also the beast taming sect's image will take a huge blow. If Double Dragon Manor catches wind of it that an empire's guardian sect, then make sure it never gets out, the elder spat before sect leader finished. Didn't Zhuo Fan pop up in Quanrong? We'll just have to remove all that know of this and just dump it on his head. This bastard has committed such atrocities, killing and pillaging, before he was finally put down, ha ha ha. The other nodded, their minds set. 6th prince was outraged. Damn hypocrites, stooping so low yet not even having the nerve to own it. What's laughable is that you preach yourself to be a righteous sect. Sir Zhu is a saint by comparison. One day you'll get yours in the worst way imaginable. Beast taming sect will be crossed out from Western Land's 9 sects. Pa, an elder slapped him. What can a filthy bastard like you possibly do? Humph, 6th prince spat the blood in his mouth, his eyes bloodshot, his face a mask of rage at how weak he was. The man snickered in disdain. Lioner was confused. What's going on here? What's so special about that tunnel? Why would you go as far as killing all who know of it, even his majesty, father, and whole court? Lioner, Chuoba Liufeng shouted over her, hinting her with his eyes. Clueless as he was about the tunnel, one thing was obvious. It was beast taming sect's taboo. Any that knew of it would have one ending, certain death, and the emperor was most definitely included. Now he realized why his majesty was so nervous. Sect leader mocked, oh, here I thought you came here knowing, but you're just as clueless. We don't know anything, nor do father and the rest. Please don't drag them into this, Lioner pleaded. All she got for her efforts was mockery. 6th prince sighed, finally turning serious for once in his life. Miss Lioner, these pricks are savages. It doesn't matter if the tunnel was found, just by being close they'll end up being killed. This is the disaster befalling Quanrong that none can escape. Right you are, sect leader snickered. Any and all related to this will be silenced for good. Sect leader spoke such hair-raising words with a smile, making the trio feel he was a demon from hell. Lioner's face fell and crumbled. That means father and everyone. Chuoba Liufeng sighed, feeling just as dejected. Only sixth prince closed his eyes, having seen it coming. This gamble was lost. Sir Zhou could have won if these degenerates hadn't fooled him. So close, sixth prince lamented. Sect leader sneered and turned to look at the night sky. The full moon hung above, bathing the swamp in its gentle glow. It was as if the moon was cleansing the sludge, breaking it away and transforming into a clear pool of impeccable beauty. The trio watched this spectacle in awe. The thick spiritual energy that came after stunned them, feeling as the yuan qi within moved 3 times as fast. Ha ha ha, Crescent Pool is here, sect leader laughed. These flowers are an abyssal swamp normally, deadly to anyone that comes near, but once the full moon comes out, it turns into Crescent Pool, a paradise for cultivation. Cultivating here for 1 day equals a year outside. Only nature could give birth to such a marvel, ha ha ha. Everyone nodded, looking excited. Sect leader, time waits for no one. This is more important than a wedding night. Let's go in and train. Sect leader nodded and took the lead to jump in. Wait, sect leader, what about those 3? Someone pointed at the hostages. Snickering, sect leader glanced over. Each time the full moon came, we always cultivated alone. How do you think we'd fare if we dual cultivate? Their eyes lit up, showing repulsive smiles. Sect leader is wise, that'll be even faster, ha ha ha. Girly, you're in luck. You're about to bring joy to sect leader, hee hee hee. An elder clutched Lioner's neck and threw her at sect leader. Lioner cried out while the other 2 hostages cursed. Is that how the sect leader of the righteous beast-taming sect acts, resorting to these vile acts? Let go of my sister before words get out how rotten your sect is. Beast-taming sect is nothing but a mob of degenerates who dissolute women. Even the glorious sect leader is reduced to a disgusting pig, so what can be said about their image? The 2 kept cursing in anger. The elders laughed. Sect leader held Lioner in his embrace, righteous image. What can any of them amount to when enough clout gives you both? You think you'll have the chance to leak this? Ha ha ha, just like the tunnel, all will go as I say it will. If I say I'm right, that's what I am. What could dead people possibly do? Humph, how naive. Chuoba, Liu Feng and 6 princes' brow shook and they gnashed their teeth. Missy, let's enjoy cultivating, ha ha ha. With a positively repugnant smile, sect leader's dirty hand traced Lioner's soft cheek, his eyes shining with desire. He then ripped her clothes in one move to uncover her pristine skin. Sect leader's desire spiked, panting like an animal. Flawless. Ah, Lioner shrieked in tears. Someone help me, please. Girly, this is the beast-taming sect. No one's ever going to save you. Sect leader cackled. Zhuo Fan, Lioner struggled, calling for the person the swamp swallowed a few days ago, even though she knew the call was in vain. But in her moment of greatest despair, she didn't call for her father or brother, but him. Sect leader laughed and mocked. Dumb girl, the guy's dead. You've seen it yourself, so why call him? Or are you calling his ghost to save you? Ha ha ha. The others joined in his laughter. Yet Lioner still cried out for Zhuo Fan, holding the last hope in this pit of despair. Unknown to anyone, the clear pond took on a black luster as it spread all over. Bubbles reached the surface as something dark spread through the clear water pond and gave it a black luster. Someone finally caught on to the peculiarity of the pond, crying, "Sect leader, why did the pond turn black again?" What? Sect leader lost his joy, staring at the water. A full moon is just above, so why the sudden change back? Did something happen this time to lead to such a change? Is the moonlight poor? He had no time to make sense of it as a black shadow jumped out on the banks, spreading beneath everyone's feet. Whoosh, the shadow rose above, trapping everyone in some sort of a barrier, unable to get out. It got so thick that even the moonlight couldn't pierce it. Everywhere they looked, they were met with more black. Sect leader cried out, is this a domain soul? Domain soul? We're a beast-taming sect, just who even comprehends such a soul? Everyone shook, looking around in panic. The domain soul was known as the strongest type. Once trapped inside, you were at the other's mercy. They were still trying to figure out who was its owner and how it got all of them. Does he want to destroy the beast-taming sect? Nah, can't be. With so many people around, the domain soul would be popped open with their efforts and give the owner a heavy wound. All that mattered now was to figure out the domain soul's nature. But in the end, no domain could actually trap so many of them for good. Holding the whimpering bell, sect leader lost his mood to pay her attention, looking around in panic. Who the hell is it that releases a domain soul in beast-taming sect? Humph, you have some nerve. Take it back right now and I'll write it off as a joke. Don't, and we'll be forced to take lethal actions. You're gonna pop my soul. What a show-off, ha ha ha. The cold voice came from everywhere. The familiar tone had everyone shaking in fear. How? Zhuo Fan, Lioner, and the other 2 guys were speechless. And no way, Zhuo Fan fell in the abyssal swamp. He's deader than dead, sect leader shook his head, shouting his denial. Zhuo Fan also has the rare heaven dragon soul, not a domain soul. I don't care who you are, but don't think you can fool me. Come out now, the others nodded as well. You tell him, sect leader. Even if Zhuo Fan is alive, he has the heaven dragon soul. We saw it ourselves. How can it be a domain soul? Zhuo Fan's mockery came again. Ha ha ha, true, I do have the heaven dragon soul, but thanks to your kind gesture of kicking me in the abyssal swamp, I have formed my second soul. Now you're all within its bounds, the devouring domain. Second soul, sect leader was stunned. There's no way a cultivator can have a second soul. You're not fooling anyone. I've been alive for so many years in the Western lands and not once heard such a baffling thing. That doesn't mean it ain't true. Didn't Danking Shen get to have two as well? Ha ha ha, having met him already, I then knew how to get two souls as well. But since you never heard of it, that just proves what an ignorant lout you are. Danking Shen, sect leader took 2 shaky steps back, his face dark. He'd never have taken Zhuo Fan's words about having a second soul seriously, but since Danking Shen was involved, he had no choice. Danking Shen was legendary in the Western lands. Anything could happen around him. Since he did it, then a freak like Zhuo Fan had a probable chance of doing it as well. Sect leader's face fell. You're really Zhuo Fan? In the flesh. Humph, Zhuo Fan, you are simply looking to die coming back again. Sect leader snickered. Your domain soul was too strong for us to handle, but with just a domain soul out, Humph. Even if the type is stronger than a beast soul, with so many souls in your domain, you'll die either way. If we charge right out, your domain soul will be pulverized or heavily wounded. Ha ha ha, Zhuo Fan, you've miscalculated. Not all domain souls are stronger than a beast soul. Sect leader shouted, men, release your souls and scatter this damned domain. Yes, sir. Everyone followed his orders and gathered their souls. A horde of beasts thundered, releasing their devastating power and increasing their pressure inside the domain. Lioner and the other 2 were gasping in shock. With such a horde of mighty beasts, any domain would fall. Zhuo Fan will, Lioner was tense, her hope of hearing Zhuo Fan was back from the dead being shaken. Sect leader cackled, Zhuo Fan, it's too late to take your domain back. Everyone attack, roar. With a thunderous yell, a stampede formed as it charged at the Black Dome's peak, the weakest point in a domain soul. It could not resist an attack and would collapse. Sect leader shook in glee. Humph, Zhuo Fan, I didn't kill you the first time, but I'll make sure you're finished now. A clanking sound echoed out before he got to gloat at his glorious achievement. The stampede stopped charging as if trapped by something. Sect leader cried out, what's happening? Why aren't you attacking? Sect leader, we don't know why, but we are lacking the strength to move. The elders panicked, as if our yuan qi and souls are out of our control. What? Sect leader's legs were shaking like jelly. A cultivator needed yuan qi and soul power to show their might. With both of them locked, that stopped one from being a cultivator altogether, nothing more than a lamb to the slaughter. How can this be? Zhuo Fan grinned as he floated. I formed the devouring domain inside the abyssal swamp, so of course it has its power. Didn't you say anyone would die once stuck in this quagmire? Ha ha ha, now all of you are in the same situation. The only difference is that this is worse. Everyone shook in fear and horror. The domain is the same as that weird swamp. Does that mean we're screwed? None caught in the swamp's sludge ever made it out alive. Beast taming sect leader. Zhuo Fan's coy grin was plastered on his face. You're wrong about one thing. Demon transformation art said the condition to form a second soul was for it to be stronger than the first. So you tell me if the devouring domain is weaker than dragon soul. Ha ha ha, you've really underestimated me. Not that taking me seriously would have changed things. So be good and die already, demon transformation art. Whoosh as Zhuo Fan's voice traveled, black energy clutched around every beast taming sect soul. Without their soul power and yuan qi, they had no chance of even resisting. Hold on, Zhuo Fan, if there's anything, sect leader begged while the elders howled. Zhuo Fan just ignored him. The black energy wrapped around them all, turning them into black statues and snuffing out their pleas. With a sound, the devouring domain faded, along with the statues. The crescent pool once again appeared with the bright moon shining from above. Only this time, the beast-taming sect's higher-ups had now been devoured by Zhuo Fan, boosting his power.